podcast with Mark Bell, which Mark's his brother, and he was like, he was like,
did I really not know that?
I don't know.
Mark Bell and Chris Bell?
I didn't realize that Chris Bell was related to Mark.
Are you fucking around? He's
no,
he's in Bigger, Faster, Stronger.
I know, but listen, hey, to be fair, back when I watched that movie, I was fucking 14 years old. I had no idea who Mark Bell was.
14.
Okay, but how old are you now?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
No, you
That movie
weren't.
came out in 2007.
You don't
Yeah,
understand.
you were a sophomore in
I
college.
thought it came out when I was 2004.
2007.
Okay, all right. I was a sophomore. I was a freshman in college.
I was 12 years old.
I was 14. I thought.
Anyway,
I was 18.
I think Chris gave Mark a bunch of kratom to go work out. And Mark was like, "Dude, I can't. Like, what is this?"
That was what Seth was saying yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like, by the way,
Seth said that he works out on it.
Look
He
at
said
the
he
shirt I
liked
decided to pick
I
up
like
for
it.
yesterday's podcast.
That's a good one.
Yeah, yesterday.
I mean, the cease and assist that Axe and Sledge got off that.
He said whiskey and cola flavored pre-workout got really popular, and we had to change our label because Jack Daniels sent us a nice cease and desist letter. And we were like, hey, can we do this? We'd love to work with you. We love you guys. We're big fans of the brand. They're like, you need to cut that shit out, man. Oh. And he's like, well, we could try it. You need to shut that fuck.
Yeah, that's a big old fuck off.
Shut that down.
Yeah.
And
That's
so,
sad.
yeah, we're like, we'd never do that. And then Luke pulls up our website. We're selling this T-shirt right now for $25.
Not me.
And I was like, yeah.
You know
Sorry you got that cease and desist letter, bro, but
the Jack
did not.
Daniels desk jockey that's just looking through shit is gonna be like, yeah, get him.
I mean, I'm sure there's an AI tool for just finding people that are using your words. You know what I'm saying?
Have you?
Using
But this
your name.
reminds me. Have you guys seen supplement superstores in India?
No.
Pull it up, dog.
Oh,
It's amazing.
India.
dude.
India.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a brick and mortar store there. It's called Supplement Superstore.
Do they have your same logo?
Oh, wait till you see
Well, they're
it.
huge on
It is a.
bodybuilding. They love
It is a
bodybuilders.
direct. It is.
So you're
a
saying we need to
direct
make a
route.
vacation?
I mean, that's pretty
No, like
cool
the
story.
It does look clean, but I'm saying like.
I mean, I can see how the logo's kind of similar to that.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
we showed to Andy, and we were like, "What do we do?" And Andy's like, "I don't fucking know. They're in India. What
Are they
gonna
taking
say?"
away? Like, you guys aren't online.
Yeah.
Are they taking away your
Yes.
in-person
No.
customer? It's like, actually, this one's probably fine.
It's fine.
I think it's fine.
I'm okay with this.
Just throw India. on the
Also,
end
if
of
somebody comes over here from India, they're like, "Oh, there's a supplement
I know this.
superstores."
I know this one.
Bro, they have a
Instant-
light up.
instant cost
I mean,
to
that's
customer.
that storefront.
That's an
looks
establishment
dope.
for
I
sure.
mean,
It's a really nice store.
that's in a mall for sure, though. That's not a storefront. That's
a store.
outside?
Yeah, it looks like a
They do
sidewalk.
things differently in India.
See, there's like a bike on the right.
For
Oh,
sure,
okay, yeah.
We should go over there and then just like go in and just refuse to pay for things and try to leave.
Yeah, I mean,
Be like,
actually,
you know who I am.
Well, I'm just a worker from the other supplement superstore down the way. I'm just grabbing
Can
some
I get my
product.
employee
deal.
discount?
I'll just wear my polo and I work there.
So I'm like, where'd you get this logo?
Real basic.
Do you know who I am?
So you guys live in New York City. You guys are, but neither of you are from New York City. Correct. So now why?
Nobody's from New York City.
Well stated.
Yes.
So why New York City?
It's hard, man. I don't know. It's well, she followed me there, you know.
Oh.
So you got to ask me.
Hey,
this
but now
question.
you want, now you won't leave.
Yeah,
now he's
Catherine,
trying to
why
leave,
New
and I'm
York
like,
City?
Let's sit. Well, we were talking about this today about how everyone there is just high effort, and if you aren't putting in a lot of effort, you have to leave because it's the environment that's created, and it's a place to go and to thrive and not to relax. So it's good for a few years. right?
Great place. I'm having a great time. Somebody threw a coffee at me the other day while I was just
someone
walking down the
shitting.
street. It was awesome.
Yeah, that person's in jail right now.
They're on Rikers Island.
He's in
Actually, it's much
Rikers.
worse.
Till Wednesday.
Well, we were at Denny's
next
last
week.
night, and I checked. I just ran to make sure that he's like still in, and he's until Wednesday. He's got a court date. So poor
The guy
Are
who threw a
people
hot
just
coffee.
dicks?
Shout out
Do you deal
Roderick.
with a lot of people that are kind of?
Well, people are like dicks, but in like a nice, efficient way.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you're walking too slowly, like, get the fuck out of there, and they don't mean anything by it. They're just like, hey, I'm trying to like go a little
trying to
faster.
It's not
Hurry.
personal. They're just
Yeah.
on their way to their third job. Like
Yeah.
they just, it's efficient and
They got
honest.
shit to do.
You know,
Kyle, you never been to New York, have you?
No, never been.
I did my first visit like almost 2 years ago. Whenever I went into this pizza shop, I was so excited. My first real New York pizza shop, right? I stood there for too long not ordering, and the guy behind the counter goes, "Hey, buddy," and I was like, "I'm like, I'm sorry." He's like, "What do you want?" And I was like, "Fuck, I don't know. I'm sorry."
That's kind of the Gates treatment
Gates
treatment
barbecue.
here.
Yeah.
There's a famous barbecue spot here that just yells at you.
Yeah.
That's part of it. You're like, I don't know what to order. Like, hurry up. What do you want? What do you want?
Yeah, that's every
Get out of
place in
here.
New York City.
Especially coffee shops. It's like, you know, usually coffee shops and places, they'll have like tables to work. There's no tables. They're like, please leave. We don't have Wi-Fi. We don't want you here.
They want you the
like,
fuck out of there.
Like, get out.
There
Like,
is no. This is
Well,
like
because I'm sure there was a bad problem. Like 10 years ago, I bet everybody used to try and go sit.
Well,
in
no,
coffee
every
shops.
homeless person would just camp up in there. So like, people visit New York City. They never realize there is nowhere public bathroom for
right.
you to go. You have to go back to your hotel or like hold it or what. Like,
There's not even a place to put trash. Just throw it on the sidewalk.
yeah, there is. It's called the
you also
street.
shit on the sidewalk. Too. That's also called the bathroom. Just in the corner.
So
People just shit on the street.
city got shut down.
Rats just literally running on the sidewalk with you.
Well,
Yeah,
the
they're
sanitation department went on strike for like 3 days once, and there was so much accumulated trash that they just like, whatever you guys want. What was it?
Yeah.
What are you striking for? Like, yeah, sure. Like, it's a serious. We live in like there's like 64 floors in our building.
Yeah.
And 2 towers. So there's like thousands of people that just live on the one corner.
Right on top of each other. Yeah.
And in 3 days, when the trash, it's like piled, like all the bags and shit. When they put it all out, it's like 10 feet high.
Yeah.
Before it's so like, we
Well,
walk
it's
the
sad
dogs
when
by there.
people-
It's unnerving.
It's like they come to visit and they're like, oh my God, there's just shit and trash everywhere. And it's like, it's only one day of the week. It's
Like,
fine.
yeah.
Like, they'll come and pick it up. It's okay.
Like literal shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
you got does New York City have like one of those maps like San Francisco where it tells you where there's human feces?
I think there's less human shit but if you go into the subway, like way more human shit. But I don't do the subway.
I do the
at all.
subway and there's a lot of human shit.
Yeah, well, that's why
I was walking the other day.
In the-
It's
in the
7
subway
a.m.
itself?
In 7 a.m., walking into the subway, like down the stairs, in the middle of the stairs, someone had taken a shit. And I'm like, not even in the corner. Like, just like, why in the middle of the stairs? Like,
You're gonna
also,
shit at least.
When
once
did
or
this
twice.
happen?
Well, I mean, if let's be honest, if you're shitting on a subway, do you care about anything
No.
anymore?
At least have some courtesy when you shit in public.
Yeah.
God.
Middle of
dare
the
you.
steps. So besides that, the enormously high rent numbers and how expensive the cost of living is and how awful the traffic is, and obviously we already talked about the friendly demeanor of everybody.
Yeah, how
What's
nice everyone is.
what's really drawing you there, Kate? You know,
Pressure makes diamonds.
That's
I mean,
true.
it's really
It's
tough.
true.
It's tough to.
That's a good
to
movie,
be
too.
comfortable. Then it's
Uncut
tough to
Gems.
be. Yeah, my friend's in that movie.
yeah. Which this doesn't surprise me at all.
So the jeweler, my friend Trax NYC Max, he's in that movie. I didn't know because I've been friends with him forever. Never seen the fucking movie, but he has a thing in front of his office of like him and Adam Sandler and all that. He has a jacket from the movie, and I'm like, I just never put it together. I'm like, what the fuck? Why does this guy have this like picture with Adam Sandler? And we watched the movie like a year and a half ago. He's in the first 15 minutes, and I'm like, how the fuck
shit.
did I not know this? Like, why are you? I call him. I'm like, dude, what is this? Why are you in this movie? Yeah. He's like, just a thing a couple years ago. To him, he's super nonchalant. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Well, it's because it's
fine.
just like,
I'm a
it is
movie star or
nonchalant.
whatever. No big deal.
Yeah. Adam Sandler's my personal friend. It's okay.
You guys, so John, before you were known for making videos to let people know the truth about how bodybuilders are editing their photos. How would I best describe what you do? Because I just tried to do it and it was difficult.
What do you mean?
How would you describe it? Say like, hey man, what do you do for a living, John?
Oh, before or now?
Before you were coaching bodybuilders,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember, and you had a big long list of clients and so forth. But when did that first take off? I've never heard this origin story. I'm genuinely super excited to hear this.
Started coaching, you mean?
No. The first video.
Who'd you call out
Who'd
first?
you
Like,
call
who
out
did you
first?
see? You were like, this is just too bad. I have to make a
And
video.
the call
about
out,
this.
the call out itself, is that the best way to call? I mean, like, how do I characterize what you do that gives people the fucking heebie-jeebies and make you the most feared man in bodybuilding?
So there's this girl. Her name was Sidona. Was her name or Sedona? Well, because I've been a coach forever. But one of my coach friends, Jeff, he was coaching this girl, and I followed his stuff, and he reposted her. And I'm looking at this picture like, she's selling a booty program and edited her ass. And so I call him and I FaceTime and I was like, Jeff, did you see this? Like, that you reposted it? Like, what the fuck? And he's like, what do you mean? And I showed him. I was like, look, zoom in. Like, it's all fucked up. He's like, oh, that's really weird. Like, what do I do about it? And I was like, you should call it out or like shit on her. He's like, oh, she's my client. Like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I was like,
But I can.
That is an awkward thing for a coach.
Yeah.
but he's like,
Yeah.
Jeff's pretty real. And he's like, she is also a pain in my ass. And I was like, well, let me do it. I'd been posting like stupid videos of like just dumb shit. Like, I don't know. I'd never did a video before. And I was like, let me record a couple of videos. And it was just like shit people didn't care about. And I was like, well, let me give a crack at it. And so I do like the whole whatever. I don't say like welcome to the show or anything. I'm just like pretty matter of fact, like, hey, look at this. Look at this. I think it was only like 40 seconds long. And this girl has a fucking meltdown.
Is this it right here? Luke, you got it?
She's
Step
like,
one.
what? People can't call me.
Whoa. Pause for a second.
this is
There's
the
context.
Amish
Pause
beard.
for this is the
Can't pause reels. Can
this is the Amish beard era.
no.
So I had
This went on for months.
Let me
For
explain
months.
myself. I had just been canceled on the internet for making a fat joke. And I was like, you know what? I need to rip on some community that'll never see me doing it, that would think it was funny anyway. And I decided that I was just going to, do Amish face for a little while.
Jedediah.
He also bought an Amish hat. It was a full bit.
So I went to
he would do.
and I end up going to the Arnold dressed Amish. And I don't know why, but there's an Amish guy goes to the Arnold also.
Is his name also Jedediah?
His name's David. David Miller.
David, yeah.
Shout out
Jedediah Dorsey is your Amish name. Sorry.
David fucking Miller, the only Amish guy at the Arnold, sees me, walks up to me. I'm dressed Amish, and he's like, man, I haven't seen anybody else Amish at the Arnold. And I folded to me. I was like, I'm not Amish. I was like, it's just a bit. I explained to him, like, I got canceled on the internet. I thought it was funny. Dude's laughing. He's just like,
He loved it.
He can't, like, he's just beside himself. He's like, why are you doing this? Like, this makes no sense. Like, I thought you were Amish. And he's like, I have a tablet. Like, can I follow you on Instagram? Like, what do you do? And so we like followed each other, and then he just watched the page like blow up, and all his Amish boys, they watch my shit, I guess, on their
That's so
tablet.
funny.
We're still. In
I'm
talk
so
to him to
confused.
this
I thought
day.
Amish weren't supposed to have
Tabs.
Great
They
question.
have a lot of
Yeah.
workarounds.
Okay.
There's a lot.
It's not workarounds. It's like the rules are what you can't do. If it gets between you and your faith or you and your family, you're not allowed to do it. So David, at the time, he worked building log homes, like these beautiful, immaculate log homes. There's all these Amish guys that do it. And they have to have a truck to do it. They have to have equipment to do it.
they have to have.
They have to be connected to the internet to do it. So they have a tablet and phones and stuff at work that they can use for whatever. The only reason David's at the Arnold is on his work tablet. He installs Instagram, finds all this stuff, finds out what the Arnold is, and ends up just driving an hour. He lives in Ohio down to the Arnold, and he's like, sees it. He's like, this is cool. Meets me, starts following my stuff, and then all the boys back at the thing are watching all the call out videos and shit. It was like
He was great. He actually came and stayed with us in New York for a week, and we like showed him life and like chaos.
Was this Rumspringa?
He loved
No, he's,
yeah, he chosen to go back after Rumspringa.
yeah. He was we took him to Andrew Schultz. We took him to like
kidding.
a bunch of
It was
sites.
amazing.
Yeah, I have a photo of David smoking a joint. I don't think I could put it up there though.
Probably not. Nicest guy though. We see him every single year at the Arnold. He brings like his extended family, his dad, his brothers. He has like 16 siblings or
And
something
they're all
like
just
that.
wearing the same outfit that was handmade.
Dude,
by their
they're all
mother.
fucking jacked too. No,
Yeah.
like the mom makes all the clothes. He stayed at our house. I don't know why we did this. I was like, I'm talking to the dude over Instagram for like a couple months. And I just, you do the New York City, like, oh yeah, you should come stay at some point. You say that to everybody. Everybody in New York City is like,
The
yeah, come
Amish
visit.
guys are like, all right, I'm
Not
on
a
my
special
way.
last night, John.
No.
Yes, sir.
Kyle, I just make the invite, and he calls me on the phone from his landline the next day and says, hey, I just called Greyhound and ordered my ticket. They should be here in a few days. I'm coming on these days. Is that okay? And I was like, Katie?
No, and then like every single morning.
Funny you should say.
Yeah,
I was like, do you remember David, like our friend from the Arnold that just sends us Family Guy memes all the time?
But like this was casual. He was going out like this on a weekly basis. Like it was not. This wasn't a bit for the
refuse.
video. This was like how we went to the grocery store.
Honest question, Katie, do you
Huck Finn
do you
Barbell,
ever-
some
you ever
classic
you ever make him
content
put the
right
hat
there
back
from
on?
that guy.
Sometimes. Actually, David brought us a traditional Amish hat from his community. So now we have like a real Amish hat.
I got a real one. You can't
That's
cancel.
what I'm saying. Is
No one
like,
else can get it.
Sometimes
I love you, like
Sometimes you whip
David.
it out.
Just
Yeah.
step around the
The mood's
poo
right.
I was like-
as we go.
You might not leave the bedroom if you put that bad boy
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
No, there's me. Wait, there's one of me and David in this. Keep going. Where's he at? I think it's
You'll know.
I think it's the
you'll
number
know.
one picture. Yeah, if you wait, we'll figure out who's the Amish guy. Let's see.
Oh, there
Yeah.
he is.
What up, Mr. Miller?
Dude, he does got a pretty good build to him, you
He's
know.
Dude,
built. Well, he
jacked.
built his entire home gym because they build log cabins. So he like built a gym and he's jacked and they just work out all
Have you
day.
guys seen Kingpin?
Yeah,
Of
I was going to
course.
say, or
The
Special
Woody
Jack.
Harrelson movie.
Kind of a Special Jack
Hey,
haircut.
can I have you look
like
up
his
Kingpin?
Top
Forearms.
3 movies
amazing.
of all time for me.
Oh my gosh, Big Earn, dude.
Yeah,
Hit it up just for the dude. We need to see the Amish dude in this.
there he
It's the
is.
same hair right there in the middle.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
they did a
about.
good job.
Kingpin's a sick movie, by the way.
It really is a
It's,
good movie.
it's unbelievable. The first 10 minutes alone.
Woody
Well, it's interesting, like
Harrelson,
the
yeah.
Amish people too. It's like since they don't have cell phones and TV and things to distract themselves, they're actually super socialized and like the least awkward people you've ever been around. Because he was staying at our house for a week, so this guy wakes up at 2 p.m. So it's me and David hanging out all morning. He wakes up super early, and I'm like, okay, so like, what do we talk about? There's literally nothing we have in common. You don't know any references to literally anything, and it's like there can be comfortable silence. Yeah. Horrible.
You're sitting there at 5 a.m. So have you seen Kingpin?
Yeah.
The hashtag Team Amish.
He's like, no, never seen it.
No.
David was cool as fuck though. He was just, we're still in
talk to him.
contact. Yeah.
Yeah.
I call. He calls me on the phone, like the landline, like once a month.
We're friends with his
He's the only
ex-Amish
person.
cousin, and he's like, will be our intermediary between the
That
two
makes
when,
sense.
on the times that he doesn't have his work phone. Because, you know, they switch jobs and things.
Yeah, Wayne quit the tribe and kind of keeps.
Maybe he downloads the podcast app on that iPad and gets to listen to the story of us talking
We
about
did
it.
we did a podcast with Huck Finn, and I told him about somehow Huck Finn knew about the David story, and he was like, "I got to talk to you about this David guy," and we talked, and it was like a whole hour. We just talked about David, and David and all his boys at his job end up like listening to it, and his brothers and shit, and they came to the Arnold this year,
Yeah.
and they all came to our booth, the whole fucking clan, and they're like, "Yo, that Huck Finn thing was awesome. Is he here?"
Oh, amazing.
I was like, come
They love it.
with me, boys. And I just take like 9 Amish guys over to Huck Finn's booth.
He's
Have
like,
you seen
"Holy
Huck
shit."
Finn stuff?
No.
Dude, he
He's
freaking
great.
will like shotgun 2 beers and then bench like
Pull
405 for
up. Oh,
10.
gotcha.
Huck Finn benching with boots on his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, he does
Please.
stuff where you're just like, this is definitely going to be an injury.
Yeah.
This is the guy that I brought all the Amish guys at the Arnold to his booth.
He was like, fuck yeah.
He's always blaring like country music and just shotgun and beers and shit at the event.
At the Arnold. Like at his booth the entire time. It's fantastic.
This is him doing this with boots on his hands? All
You'll
right.
see.
All
You'll
right,
see.
Luke. You got an 8-man strength banner. That's pretty sick.
There he is. Wait, no.
He's supposed to adding boots at the end or something?
Does this dude live in Chicago?
It
Or
says
outside of
cowboy boots,
Chicago?
tucks fitting and benching.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
While he's bringing that up, I got to bring this back on track.
Dude,
So-
Wait, are you
This is
saying
Amish for David.
Are you saying that Amish David is off track?
Listen.
right here in the dossier, it says speak on Amish people for 15 minutes.
I could go on and on.
We just saw one picture of John with his Amish beard, and he's like, all right, for context.
Listen.
I just can't have that out there where they're like, is he Amish? Like,
Or like, was this a style choice?
The truth was, no matter what, it was on purpose.
It was absolutely on
We need to
purpose.
make that clear.
It does make it funnier that the first person you ever called out was like, who's this Amish guy that is so obsessed with freaking Photoshop?
How is he on the internet?
How does he know?
Here's a good question. So if you hadn't done any call out videos to this point, how did you get canceled? 'Cause you're like, oh man, I didn't have a ton of followers before that. This and that. I'm like, how do you get canceled if you're prior to having a ton of followers?
So I want to headline this with, I used to be fat, okay? I can make the jokes.
Yeah, understood.
Starbucks posted this ad at the time, and it was like 2 women that were like holding the whatevers, and they were like heavy. And I just screenshotted it, and I put it on my story, and I captioned it, "Are these egg white bites keto?" That's me. That
Oh,
was a funny
Jesus.
one.
It's like the would you have dated me in high school? This is the same us at the same age.
Babe, you totally would have, right?
Guys, John used to have a long ponytail, like a rat tail.
was bad.
It was real bad.
Oh, dude.
John was sitting next to me last night. He's like, dude, I used to get laid all the time.
You're like, yeah, buddy.
You're like, dude, I had to fight them off. It was,
Oh my god, delete
dude,
that
the
forever.
motorcycle pick though, that's epic, dude.
We took that inside of our house. Well, in New York, we also have to keep all of our vehicles
No,
like, in
he
our
meant
home.
the one of me next to my Suzuki Katana.
So sorry. So
Not
sorry.
you.
Yeah,
So
the
sorry.
katana. I mean,
Okay,
That's
that
a
was
discomfort on your face for me.
fucking spring break. I'm 21 years old. I ride the spring break. It snows on the way back. The worst, like 4 hours on a motorcycle.
did you go fishing after in those shoes? What is the shoes?
Hey,
what is happening?
those are Merrills.
Are those Merrills?
no.
Those are Merrills.
Did you go hiking?
I don't know where I got.
John's
those
never
from.
hiked in his life.
I don't hike at all.
Did
John
you put
doesn't
it?
do dirt.
Were those Jinko jeans?
Let's break down the outfit.
I'm just saying it's unbelievable. I mean, like, gosh dang.
I don't know what was
the glow
happening
up
there.
from the Amish beard was really, honestly, the glow up.
I like the Amish beard. Honestly, I've been growing it out, and the other day I was like, man, I could
We should chin strap it.
I could culturally appropriate the Amish again.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to.
The motorcycle is actually sick. What
It
was
is the one group that you can't get in trouble for
You got that.
cultural
They enjoy it
appropriation.
too.
Yeah.
They like
Suzuki
don't understand.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like a 600
600cc,
Yeah.
yeah.
It has 4-way flashers. Like, it's a cool motorcycle.
Yeah, man.
It's like very comfortable on the highway because it weighs like a bazillion pounds. Like,
Yeah.
ride that shit is great.
No, it's like
I
they
miss
don't
that.
understand cancel culture though. So
Yeah.
it's like they just genuinely enjoy like the joke of it.
Yeah.
Like they don't get offended like that. And it's kind of cool. You're like,
I got
yeah.
sidetracked by the
Most
21
people-
Us. What? So they're holding the drinks, and you're like, you
Oh,
made a
I
comment?
I captioned it. Are these egg white bites keto? Because I thought keto was really popular at the time, but like
that's not mean.
it was like a little mean. It was kind of, but it was like
It was
I posted
sarcastic.
it. Yeah, it was like they
little
knew
funny.
I was making fun. I was making fun of them, but it's not like I tagged these women and I
Yeah,
put
it's
it on
not
my
like,
page.
look
with,
how
like,
fat these girls are. Or something. I mean, I'm serious when I say, like, dude, as a chubby dude, like, I've never, I would never take that personal.
Yeah, it was.
You know?
Yeah, it was like a funny thing, and I put it up, and it made it to this page where like thousands of people reported my account, and so I got banned for bullying harassment because I had like 700 followers, and they got like 7 bazillion reports or whatever, and they just say, fuck this guy, fuck him. Oops, didn't mean to do that.
What
And,
year was this?
2020? Maybe.
Wild.
Dude,
No, it was probably 21.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, 2021.
as somebody who is very prominent on the internet, and
You're talking about yourself, right, Kyle?
yes, me, I have 3,000 followers.
It's a lot
Dude,
of people.
that right there is so tame in comparison to like the 12,000 comments that I will see people like. Have you seen this?
Successful.
Obviously, where
Yeah.
people get on a roll and
Yeah.
it's like, who can say the meanest
Yeah.
thing?
But it was like the page that called me out was this. She's no longer on the internet. Somebody did a call out on her, and she disappeared forever. I don't know.
We don't know
It could have
who.
been me.
We don't know who.
Her page was "You Look Like a Man" is what it was called, and I actually liked half the shit she did. She would shit on people that were like vile people, but every once in a while she would just like go and find somebody making like an off-color joke about some shit, like some guy posting a Starbucks ad and saying, "Are these egg white bites keto?" and just sicking her like whole fucking horde of crazies on him, being like, "Fuck this guy, figure out where he works."
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
that's
I
what
would
you do now.
I leaned in. No, I leaned into that shit.
no.
I was like, oh, I know where the guy works. Like, I posted like, oh, he works at this. This is the phone number, and I just posted my phone number, and these people were like calling me like, fire John Dorsey, and I was like, I am John Dorsey. I work for myself. Fucking idiots.
No, we were also like on vacation in Puerto Rico when all of this was going down for the first time. And it was like him fighting online with these strangers and like women in the comments. And I'm just like going on my little hike and we're on vacation. And it's like a good descriptor.
You're like having
for
an
our
omelet and a
lives.
couple's massage, and
Yeah.
he's over here just like, fuck you.
He's like, fuck this bitch.
It was like kind of funny, and I was like, whatever. So they deleted the page, and I made another.
So unfair.
And when I made the new
egg
page-
bites are keto. Just to be clear, they are keto.
They are
Yeah.
keto.
So what? So like,
It also was like a
You're
billboard
welcome,
advertisement.
Starbucks.
It wasn't
Yeah.
like 2 women that we like would know. It was like a commercial or a billboard or something.
Sure.
Like, you know,
It was
what
a
I mean?
post on Instagram. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I make the new profile, and I was like, all right, what is one segment of the world that I can rip on indiscriminately, and they will either never see it or never care, or if they see it, they won't give a shit and laugh. And I settled on the Amish.
Team Amish was born.
I was like, they're not on the internet, and
never
they have
see this.
other shit to do. They're not going to sit around
Yeah.
fucking reporting me for making
They're
fun of
building
them.
houses.
I'm just saying,
Yes.
if you,
They're building America.
Yes.
Literally.
I don't know.
They're
If,
breeding the
I don't know if you went
Shih
after
Tzus.
blind people if it would have gone as good.
Just go
They
to
would
the
never
beach.
see it, that's for sure.
That is
Yeah.
true.
They would
never
definitely
see
hear it.
You would just do captions and never say a
Oh,
word.
no.
Yeah.
That's raw. So I started doing the Amish thing. And I was on a friend's podcast right after that, and I answered. It was like a video podcast in the Amish hat with the beard shaved. And my friend Ross Flanagan, the guy who owns Flavor Gang, he did it with me. We were on David De Mesquita's podcast. He's like, I want to get you guys on. You're funny. I want to get you on. And I called Ross, and I was like, yo, I don't know why, but I just like shaved my beard Amish, and like I ordered this hat on Amazon. Like, do the same thing. Don't say anything, and just answer the podcast with the hat. And Ross did not ask any questions. He was like, okay, sounds good. And he fucking orders this stupid like Abraham Lincoln looking Amish hat. I wish we could find the podcast. But it's like he answers and I answer, and David is just like, hi guys, because we didn't like talk to him before, didn't tell him what was going on, and we just answer like two weirdos with Amish beards, and he's seen us and met us before and knows that's not the case, and we totally avoid talking about it the whole time. He's just
That's what
asking
makes
us,
it the funniest.
You're
Is
like,
when
"What
you
do you
don't
mean?"
acknowledge the thing that is obviously like strange.
You're like, what do you
Also,
mean?
that Ross guy is like, what is he? 300 pounds?
Ross is a very large man.
jacked.
Yeah, he's a professional bodybuilder.
If you meet him in person, you're like, oh, holy shit. Like,
And so David has us on the podcast again, like a month later, and we answer, and David's wearing this like blonde wig. And I text Ross like as soon as we answer, and I was like, don't acknowledge it, don't talk about it, don't act like it even exists, and just this is a normal podcast. He's like, okay, Ben, sounds good. We do the whole thing without even mentioning it. Like, oh, hi. How
he
you
had like
doing,
a planned
David?
bit. It was like more
So,
than
I mean, like,
This makes me so disappointed in my performance today. I should have done something.
yeah.
No Amish beard, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm not.
You guys, so that first call out video, what happened?
Now that we're back to the first call out video.
Yeah.
It was so I somehow ended up raising like $1,000 for St. Jude with that video. This girl's beefing. She's like, I didn't edit the photo, and I was like, oh, cool. Send me the original. And if that's the case and I'm wrong, I'll send $1,000 to St. Jude. And if not, you do it. And she's like, okay, cool. Sends me the photos. I break it down, prove that she's full of shit, show that what I said was true, and I post it up and tag her. And she just blocks me. And so I did. It was like a 3-parter. And so I did the third video, and I was like, hey guys, St. Jude was promised $1,000. This girl's a cunt. Can I say that? This girl's a cunt.
Yeah.
And that was part 1.5. And oh my God, that fucking beard.
It is nice.
I look back on that period
I
of
want
time.
it to come back, dude.
Honestly, like,
Bring
you're,
it
you're
back.
not giving yourself enough credit here, man. It looks great.
Tomorrow. And anyway, so I posted up and I was like, hey guys, what do you think about just sending the money to St. Jude anyway? And so you see here, LMAO donation made, keep them coming. Everybody sent money, and we ended up sending like $1,200 to St. Jude from this like first video that I ever did,
I love that, dude.
which is cool. I was like, damn, it was like people were
You
entertained.
can tell that you're clearly making a difference.
Yeah, you redirected their bullshit to like somewhere else. It was kind of cool. If it's the same camera lens, I'll delete it and send $1,000 to St. Jude.
You've always been huge on philanthropy, man. Where did that come from? Because you've done so many things for people charity-wise. It's wild how much money you've raised.
I don't know, bro. It's like if you don't have, I don't know. It's like it's easy. It's so easy. It's like it's not an effort to post up something. I did a post the other day for. So I collect knives, as you know, and I'm in this knife group on Facebook, and some guy makes a post and he's like, hey, there's this veterans home for disabled veterans. They love Little Debbie snack cakes and their pantry is out. We're sending some money. I'm doing a raffle. He's like giving away a knife, and he's like, for every $1 you send or whatever, you get this many entries. And I was like, whatever, fuck that. I'm just going to send money. And I grabbed the thing and I looked in to make sure it was like a real thing and found some pictures of the guys, and I posted it up and I was like, hey guys, just send money here. And he like DM'd me on Facebook.
You asked him for Big Deborah's.
Yes.
Big Debbie. Yeah, I was like, guys,
Get these soldiers some Big Deborah's.
Yes.
All right, sorry.
And he like messages me and he's like, dude, like where's all this? Like, what's going on? Like, who are
We are swimming in Swiss
We
cake
literally
rolls
are
right
not
now.
going to be able to eat
I know.
so many zebra cakes.
So they got like $5,000 in cash from like Venmo donations. Little Debbie's Instagram account found my video.
Oh, yeah.
Reached out to me, asked for their contact, reached out to them, was sending them a bunch of shit. A bunch of people were like mailing stuff and Amazon and Walmart shipping, and they got fucking bodied.
They're good for
probably
the
like,
next 10 years.
yeah. They're like, damn, turn this shit off.
It's like but just, I mean, you don't give yourself enough credit, John. I mean, like, there's genuinely like there's so much that you just don't have to do, and whenever you call out people, you catch so much heat for calling people out, and it's just like you have no obligation to give back like you do. So just you should give yourself more credit, dude. It's awesome the impact you guys are making.
But what frustrates me is it took me like 3 minutes to do that. And I'm like not big on the internet. Like some people are big on the internet. Like it takes 3 minutes to do that, to just direct a bunch of people like, hey, send your money here. What is $5,000 to 700,000 people? Like not that much fucking money. And it took me 3 minutes to make that. I don't know. It's like, it's literally not a big deal and not hard at all. And I think more people should do it and not make a big deal of it. It's pretty fucking.
I think you
sad
have
that
a sound argument. Yeah,
it's so sad that me doing that, people are like, oh my God, that's like such a great thing. I will forget about doing that in a few weeks.
right.
Yeah.
All the time. People are like, do you remember when you did this? I'm like, no, I don't. Some kid the other day, he's like, hey, you sent me groceries back in whenever. And like, I wanted to return the favor. And I'm like, is this a fucking scam? Like, who are you?
Yeah.
So we got to ask now that we're here. What is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Easy. Cosmic brownie. Done.
Wow.
Oh, that's a solid choice.
Easy,
Yeah.
easy.
Solid
I like
choice.
a Swiss roll.
Swiss
Classic Swiss
roll?
roll.
But
yeah.
with the Swiss roll, temperature is important.
Okay.
For me, it's the layers. I like to it's like a Kit Kat.
You peel it
like
back?
roll
But if it's
or
too
round.
warm, then the layers are brittle and they fall apart. And if it's too cold, then the layers are brittle and they fall apart. There's like a sweet spot that's perfect.
They call
Oh.
they call that room temp.
But if your room's really
It's called warm. It's called warm.
Dude, the Nutty Bar, no one loves it.
I love the
That's
Nutty Bar.
Gosh,
that's
dude.
a
I like a
classic.
Nutty Bar.
That's
Number
that's
one.
a
What about
childhood
the
classic.
Star Crunch?
Dude,
Awful.
awesome, awesome.
You don't
Love
like it?
Love
Oh,
a Star
come
Crunch.
on,
Chris
bro.
Like a
Bryce,
Star
Come
you're
on.
crazy.
Come on.
Chris Bryce, caramel, chocolate, it's delicious.
No.
It's delicious.
The Star Crunch it's not a snack.
You know what makes Cosmic Brownies so good is the
Candies,
The
dude.
candies. on
Absolutely.
top.
It would be a different
changes
product.
That
Those were
trash
on-
brownie with the fucking walnuts on it. Get out
Throw
of
it
here.
away. Throw it away.
I forgot those existed.
I need the candy pieces. Yeah.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I think you were saying though, it's like it takes you 3 minutes, but it's also been like years of building credibility where people know that the money that they're sending is actually going to a good place.
But here's
So-
a counter argument to that. We just watched a video where nobody knew who the fuck I was, and I did a thing, and it took me like 5 minutes to do, and $1,200 got sent to St. Jude just because.
Yeah.
So like anybody could literally do that, because I did it when I had no, and at that point in time I had 700 fucking followers on Instagram.
And here's what's so cool about it, dude. Like, I will say this, because him and I had, we worked with Big Brother, Big Sisters here in Kansas City, and we tried to raise some money for them. And we were able to raise 60 grand, super cool, et cetera.
yeah.
But I will say this, like, we put so much thought into, like, how we asked for the money and put, like, it was, like, you know, probably overproduced.
Yeah.
Oh, so much, like, energy and effort into, like, you know, kind of like a production. And you're just so straightforward, like, you're, you know, in the T-shirt you're
Here's
wearing
something
that day.
good, go.
Hey, guys, here's a good way. Here's how you could be good today. Boom.
Yeah.
And
People
it was,
love
like,
that shit.
simple.
Dude, we
And
did
I love that approach. I'm just saying, like, it's funny how that can be so cavalier to do
Yeah.
it that way.
anybody can do. We did a toy drive for our gym. Didn't ask him if I could do it there, and I did. Like I recorded a
I
video.
remember this.
And I
Funny
was,
as hell.
Amazing.
I was like, hey, send toys to this address. And it's the fucking gym. And it's like 3 days go by and the dude's calling me like, I can't get it because it's in New York City. So it's on the 5th floor and there's an elevator entryway and it's very small. And the Amazon guys just fucking like opening the door and throwing all the packages and shit in.
I mean, it went on for because we put that out there like probably a month and a half beforehand. So people were mailing stuff for like a month and a half, and he lost like half of his gym to it. I mean, it was just literally stacks.
You
and
guys were,
stacks of
I mean, I
boxes.
think you put out some pics or
It was
videos
ridiculous.
It
of
was
like
amazing.
the amount of stacks of toys.
Thousands of toys.
And
It took a
we
room full of
had-
people like hours to even like sort and start wrapping shit.
Yeah, we had like a wrapping party because we didn't want like the kids to pick out the good stuff or whatever. So, but it's like it was a community thing. It was nice. We had like we fed people and they like wrapped together or whatever, and it's like a walk up. So it's 5 stories, and we had probably 300 families, and it was like all the way down the stairs, all the way down the street. I mean, it was really
Amazing,
cool.
dude.
I was nervous because she did all the legwork for finding family. Like I was like, I can get the toys, but I don't know.
It's just like, dude, it's when I read these comments, like when when you're throwing out your dude, who was the girl that you blasted that was like on E or something like that, right?
On E, like ecstasy.
No, like entertainment.
No, like an
entertainment
E
channel.
exclamation mark.
Yeah, she was like a guest host, like one of those girls who had like 1 million followers. Like you crushed a girl and she was like a total body positivity girl. Like hosts a podcast. It's literally called like Be Real or some shit
Probably
like
a
that.
few of those, to be honest.
You've described so many people.
Yeah, that's
I
a lot
know,
of them.
sadly. But this girl, anyways, she was just one of the most Instagram famous people that I've seen you do. That's not in the fitness world, really.
Yeah.
And anyways, I watched you do that, girl, and I see the comments, and it's just like, dude, do you guys have any idea how much good this man puts in the world? You know what I mean? Like people just don't understand.
You
Like,
gotta
dude,
swing the hammer
300
both
families.
ways.
Like 300 families had a better Christmas because of these, these videos that you make, and they want to like be pissed at you because some girl photoshopped her photo, and you just simply told everybody, "Hey guys, you probably shouldn't like listen to this girl. She tells you to like, love yourself where you're at," and she's just like fucking change. And
Not doing that.
She was the one that literally did come back out and make a video that was like a sad apologetic one that wasn't apologetic, and she's just like, "I was having a bad mental health day. Like I'm fucking human, like, like I don't typically like lie to thousands or in your case millions of people that you know.
Yeah, you do.
It's like
Because I
you're-
was having a bad day, I just
Yeah,
lied to
sure.
a million people.
Well, it's like even if you're having a bad day, though, it's like not an excuse to disenfranchise people. Like deal with your shit and then go on the internet. Then
Well, that's another thing. Like you talk about like what's the point of doing Photoshop video? People ask me that all the time. It's like that little entertainment stuff just builds the brand that when you call upon them, like, hey, send a bunch of money to these veterans. People are like, yeah, sure, this guy's funny. Sounds good.
And it's little Debbie.
Yeah, here's $5. Big Deborah. I said in the video, I was like, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. Yeah, send a Venmo. And they're like, okay. And all the comments are like, not going to hell today. Stupid shit like that. But you entertain people and they remember it. And it's, it's like I said, it's literally easy. If you're watching this, it's really easy. Just go do it.
After the St. Jude, $1,200, that's the first real call out video, right?
Yeah.
How do you go from that to number 2? And what kind of time lapses? Are you like, man, this is really like working as far as traction and engagement? And there's obviously, I'm solving some problems out here. How long before you decided I'm going to do a second one?
I thought it was funny. And because I've been in the bodybuilding world like forever. I've coached forever. And there are all these people that I know are like bullshit and like fake. And so I like had a mental list of like 10 people.
Here's
like,
10 people I can go down and just eventually get to.
And so I there was another guy, I can't even remember his name, but I'd followed him forever. And he was just like the fakest. Like he did like a bodybuilding show and never post pictures, like that kind of guy.
Classic.
Him, dude.
Synthol guy or something?
On it. What is his name?
I remember this guy.
I wish my head would move out of the way.
What's crazy is like you can just look at those two pictures and realize that his waist is not that small.
Yeah.
It's like so absurd.
This is very different.
And so that was a tagged photo on the left.
Yeah.
And then on the right is what he would post. And he would post this shit all the fucking time. All he did was coach. He was just like a fucking turd. And that was like, I'd seen his stuff, and me and Ross Flanagan actually would send this guy's posts back and forth to each other because we always thought it was funny.
I think like John's like this in his real life. Like every person that we know and interact with, he will call them out on their shit like in person, like anyone that we know. So I feel like it's just who you are, and then you're like putting that onto the internet.
Yeah.
But it's like that's how you operate all of the time.
Yeah, and it was like, so I did 3 or 4 of those, just ones that I knew of, and then people start DMing me like, hey, is this real? And I was like, oh, all right, I have all these fucking DMs. Like, I guess I could do a couple more. And then I'm like at 50 fucking videos. And Ross Flanagan, my buddy, he calls me and he's like, hey, we should do an award show. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you've done like 100 videos at this point. Like, let's give away awards to like the shittiest people. Like the Dundies, like the reverse awards or a Razzie. And I was like, all right, like let's put it together. And I was like, you have to help me with it. And we like, I don't know how the fuck this happened, but we end up like renting a location in San Antonio, in New Braunfels. Yeah, it's like near San Antonio.
Yeah, we all just no one knows what that is. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
New Braunfels. You guys are you following?
It's like even smaller though. Like it was like literally the middle of nowhere on a Tuesday or whatever.
And we selected that city because
that's where Ross lives, and he's fucking lazy and didn't want to travel anywhere. So we fly in. We rent this place in New Braunfels, like this auditorium. Get like a live stream guy to show up, and I put it out there. At the time, I have like fucking maybe 20,000 followers. We pick a random Tuesday. It wasn't random. It was my birthday. I hate my birthday. So like, I just never like want to talk about my birthday, and I'll like do events on my birthday just so it's like, oh, the event, but not my birthday. So it was like my reverse birthday party. I put it out there like, hey guys, you can just show up, get a ticket. It's like $15 to come. We're going to give away awards to the shittiest people in the fitness world. And like 100 people show up on this random Tuesday to just watch me and Ross Flanagan just like give it's like basically an award show.
PowerPoint.
Were you like, oh,
not
shit,
a PowerPoint?
we better like figure out something to talk about?
Were you wearing tuxes?
We were dressed up. We had actual like crystal awards. We had sponsors. It was a
cool production, honestly.
We hired photographers, videographers. Like there was a lot going on.
Where did that creativity come from?
Luke, is that on his
Ross?
page? Pull some of that up.
Yeah,
It definitely
the
is.
Goobies. Go to.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was Goobies, right?
Yeah,
it had to be.
If you go to, I think official Gooby Awards. I still have an Instagram for it. That
Was this last year or when was
just
this?
like 2 years ago.
We did one last year though, but it was a live stream.
Yeah, we just live streamed it this last year, and then we were gonna do one in. I was terrified to do it this year in person because the first year I did it, I had like no followers, and 100 fucking random people showed up in the middle of nowhere on a Tuesday, and I was like, I can't do this.
You're like, actually, I have to plan an event.
We're
Or
gonna
like
have to
get
hire
a police
security.
officer there, just in case.
So, but Ross is going through all this, and he's like, dude, you know what you need to do more? And I was like, what? He's like, your best videos, you always say, welcome to the show at the beginning. And I didn't even realize I was doing it. I just stole that shit from like Steve Harvey because he says that in his thing. And I was like, all right, it's kind of funny. And so I started doing it more consciously, like every time, welcome to the show, welcome to the show. But
So that was the initial inspiration of Welcome to the Show.
yeah,
was the Steve
it's
Harvey
Ross's
bit.
fault.
And
Yeah.
then you look up at him, and then that person's fucked.
Yeah.
Well, Ross had to watch like all of because there was like 100 videos, and he had
Hey.
to watch all of them and rank because we had like categories like the Golden Waste Award, like the biggest lie, worst PR scandal, and we just had all these categories that we divided it into for like what they were getting their award for.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's also we also invited all of the winners, and none of them showed up. We're like, come on down, accept your award. Like in the middle of the New Braunfels.
Did you ever do
I
like
love it.
a,
They're
did you ever do like
thinking-
a picture of like us with the winner? Like
Photoshop it in.
just a bunch of like Manti Te'o's girlfriend pictures.
Yeah.
Somebody's sitting there and they're like, "Whew, I'm glad that's over. That was kind of a nightmare." And then they get an invite to the award. You've won. They're like, "No."
It's the only award show you really don't want to win at all.
Yeah.
By the way, all these people stayed after the show to
Yeah.
take a group photo.
Just out here putting out good in the world, dude.
I don't know what that one picture of the guy in the turban's about, but that guy was definitely
wanted to be
not
included. He wanted
at
to
the
be there.
Goobies.
He works at Subway Superstores.
It's a different type of gooby.
Yeah.
That is a whole different Goobie.
Goofy Goober.
So yeah, if you guys want to come to the Goobie Awards, we're probably going to do it in person again this year.
100%.
It's going to be it's like the first week of December.
We'll do a special Protein Bros
Who's-
podcast
hey,
from the award show.
I got to know who's in the running to win it all this year so far.
Who comes to mind for nomination?
Well, it's usually fan voted. Like we will run a poll
Yeah.
of and have people vote for who's the worst.
Last
at
year, it
different
was
things.
Donna Briggs.
Oh my
won the whole
god, that was such a classic.
Yeah, and
I
MMA
followed the whole
icon.
saga.
Donna
An
Briggs.
icon.
Bro, what? Hey, we gotta give her some credit. I remember later, none other than Donna Briggs donated a shit ton of money to something.
Do you have any idea how much money she sent to causes that I've directed?
It's wild.
Since I
Is,
called her
is
out?
this the girl that acted like she donated to a thing and then she didn't? You found out she didn't
Yes.
donate. Yeah.
Is that right?
She was like a
Correct.
hyperinflator though.
No,
Like,
she
was a good person.
But wasn't she also like the like my neck breaking? Just like what is happening? She was black and then she became white.
Correct.
There's
and we're
something
like-
going on.
She did a
in
Michael
the
Jackson.
brain.
I might not even be thinking about
Bro,
the same one.
it was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like because the whole Donna Briggs saga started, and he was like,
You never heard of Michael Jackson?
he
though?
goes, no, I mean, of course, dude. It was like you just would never have guessed. And he's like, wait till you see Donna Briggs. He goes,
Yeah.
wait till you see this old video of Donna Briggs, and it was like she was like an Atlanta radio host or something.
Yeah.
Find it, dude. This was crazy.
I mean, she ended up though, like for the toy drive we hosted, she came in person and donated a shit ton of toys. And she was like, "We weren't there." I was like, "Oh my god, I wish we could have
Right.
met her in person."
Donna Briggs currently holds because there's like some massive donators that there's guys that and girls that always like they're always good for like 2K.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Frank Ellis. If I say anything about any cause, Frank fucking 2K. There you go. Done. Sends it immediately.
Right.
Donna Briggs beats everybody's ass by a lot in amount of money that she's donated to other to causes that I've directed.
Really?
she kills it, dude.
She's a nice woman.
Yeah.
She's probably sent like fucking 50 grand.
As far as redemption goes, she's probably your best redemption story.
Gotta
She's
be.
a psycho, but like I don't know. Her husband owns like bazillions of properties and shit, and he's like a multimillionaire and has all these cars. And I think she's just sort of loony, but like her heart
Sorta.
is in the right spot.
Yeah.
Like she showed up to our toy drive.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I get
No, we were out of town or something.
I was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for an event, and I get a DM from Donna Briggs, which I always check immediately. And she goes, "Come downstairs." And I was like, "Donna, are you talking to me on purpose? Like, this can't be right." And she said, "I'm at your gym."
Like, I'm going to have an affair with you.
Yeah. Come downstairs.
She doesn't say, "I'm at your gym, come downstairs," or "I'm at your house." She just says, "Come downstairs." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Luke, Donna Briggs, what are we doing?
He'll get there.
I mean, dude, doing what you do, if somebody, even if you knew him kind of well, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to come right downstairs.
Oh, I would have
Like,
went
tell me
immediately.
what you're
I
doing.
was so mad that I wasn't there.
Down
I would
there
have
to see
sprinted.
Donna.
And she, I was like, "Where are you?" And she said, "I'm at your gym." And I was like, "Hang on, I'm not in town, but I'll send somebody." And I call the owner of the gym, and I was like, "Listen, this is very important. Donna Briggs is at your gym, and you need to go down and photograph her."
And no one got a picture. Everyone failed the mission. I was like, damn.
Well, they go down, And she has fucking
hit that.
all these toys and shit for the toy tribe.
Yeah. And they were elite toys. They were like
Elite.
the
Super
cool
nice.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like
Good baby dolls, like giant
Yeah.
stuffies, like
Yes.
just crazy.
All we
There
need
was
to do
one
is
of
see her,
the
dude.
stuffed animals left over.
Oh
and
my
We have
God.
it in our house as like a memento to her.
So the beautiful part of this is if you watch one Donna Briggs video, you've seen every Donna Briggs video.
That's right.
It's her in a very expensive car. It rotates, a Rolls Royce, a Porsche, a Tesla, whatever. Tesla Plaid, of course, Donna. And she talks about her tenets of success and all this stuff. And
She tells you how to be successful.
This
Yeah.
is the exact woman I thought it was, and I think that
and she has just a very unique way of speaking that you'll like, like it's
Donna
just very,
Briggs.
yeah.
hey guys, it's Donna Briggs.
she speaks so uniquely. And then now, can you find the one of her at like Donna Briggs Atlanta Radio? Just search that.
If you go on YouTube, and I can't speak ill of her though.
Yeah, no, she's a good
that's what
person.
I'm saying. No, like it's the best redemption of all the people you've
Yeah.
ever called
She is
out.
the
She's
comeback
got-
story.
She has some personal demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
We have an open invite
her
for
the
dinner,
best.
by the way.
We
She
do.
invited us to dinner, and I just have to take her up on it. There she is.
pretty girl.
I mean, yeah,
Go back down to the bottom left one there.
Okay, I can't.
That one. I mean,
This is like transforming.
that's what I'm
mode.
saying.
All right, guys,
That
but-
one next to it.
Between all of us, I can't show you guys it because I've been sworn to secrecy.
Sure.
But I have a photograph of her from 1998 by the guy that she went to prom with, and he was her prom date, and he saw the video and reached out to me and said, "This is what she looked like in 1998." And it is nothing like any of these photographs. You would not recognize her. She is absolutely unrecognizable.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
But
would
again,
believe that though.
Child Michael Jackson versus I mean that's.
I
just
mean,
a
that
different
is a little. That's a little much. She, the
most extreme
She doesn't look
ones.
like Michael Jackson.
Oh, bro, no, I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying like for
That's insulting to
a
Donna Briggs.
comparison.
I'll defend her tooth and nail.
I ate that Carolina Reaper jerky before we started this, and yeah, I hate my life right now.
I rubbed my
How are you
eyes.
feeling?
That was a bad idea.
To be
I
fair,
rubbed my eyes after
Did
it.
you
and
eat food this morning? I haven't had any food yet.
Come on, dude.
So it's digesting
Of course I
really
ate
terribly.
food.
Just burning.
Starting to sweat in the back of my neck. Like it's starting to get really uncomfortable over here.
Dude, you know,
We did tell you not to do.
I was so stupid.
Yeah.
It was so stupid.
you know
Sir.
what you have been doing recently that I can really tell you that I appreciate. You have cultivated in my timeline is or on my newsfeed is that you've been calling out
All sex
pedophiles.
offenders.
Sex offenders, and for some reason, because I watch your videos, now I'm getting served up people luring pedophiles into like Targets and slapping
beating
the
them up.
absolute shit out of them.
Shout
Seen
out.
those?
Shout out.
Shane Mundy and Jay Carnicon are the two guys that you're talking about.
Bro, I watch
Josh
their
Mundy,
videos.
rather, not Shane.
I went on a binge watching of their videos. They're
been-
so
Amazing.
funny.
They're so good to watch.
Are you
It's
on
like
their
what we all
locals?
wish we could do.
After this, I'll show you. So if you want to see the full videos, they beat these guys' asses. It's $10 on their locals. It's Dads Against Predators, is the guys you're talking about.
Yeah.
They invited me to come out and do it.
You should do it.
I'm like, yeah, they have warrants in like every fucking
Yeah,
state.
like they get charged.
Yeah.
So it's like,
They don't give a fuck either. Like they don't
the
care.
the fucking best content on the internet is when they get one of those pedophiles out in public and they basically say, "What are you gonna do about it?" And then they get slapped and it's like their whole life flashes before their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, you can just do that. You can just slap
They're
me.
talking shit. They're like, yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, did you see my favorite one? It's,
who are you?
this the Josh Mundy, the dude who's usually
Is he the taller guy?
The taller guy with the
Yeah.
tattoos. They're meeting a guy in a hospital. The dude, his wife was giving birth upstairs in the hospital.
God.
He's in the lobby. He has this creepy van, and he told what he thinks is a 13-year-old, "Come meet me in the lobby. We'll go out to my van and we'll have sex." And then in rolls fucking Jay and Josh, and they're like, "Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And Josh gets really frustrated. The guy's sitting in the chair, and he just fucking winds up and kicks him in the face. Like in a hospital, just fucking open rip kicks him in the face, and he's like, "Let's go outside." And the guy's like, "Okay." And he goes outside, and they beat his ass. Just beat his ass in the parking lot. It was awesome.
That is so
But it's like, what do you
crazy.
go? You go back into the room with your wife, and you're just like beat to shit, and you're, it's okay.
Well, they
Don't worry
told
about
him.
it.
They're like,
Ask me questions, please.
They're like, you can come outside with us, or we know who you are, we know who your wife is, and we're gonna go upstairs and show her all of this, or we go outside and beat your ass. And he's like, we can go outside.
And by the way, your wife's already gonna see it.
Yeah, it's like You're coming back bleeding and bruised, buddy.
That video has like
Unreal.
6 million views. Like, sorry, buddy. Like, yeah, you got cooked.
So, just for my own reference, I heard somebody say this in a serious tone on like the internet yesterday, and I was just like, "This can't be real." What is the new like this really random way of saying that you're a pedophile, but you're trying to make it sound like it's acceptable? What's that phrase they use? It's like I'm youth attracted.
MAP, a
Yes.
minor attracted person. MAP.
Isn't that fucking wild?
Literally so
that
disgusting and sick.
it's just like what?
Yeah.
It's not great, man. It's a
Who's
disease.
using
A
that
phrase-
term? That
dude,
you're saying people are using that
People
term.
are using calling it,
pedophiles,
for acceptance. No, like pedophiles, you know.
Good point.
They're like, no, this
I don't
is
like the term pedophile. We got to figure something that's more.
It sounds too harsh. What
Yeah.
about MAP? Like,
Yeah.
nah,
Like
buddy.
that doesn't show me any.
A map
empathy
person
as
doesn't get slapped in
a
the
map
face.
person.
Yeah.
I'm a this is they were a minor attracted person. I was like, what? That just means they're a pedophile.
Yeah.
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 Well, it's like they
try
want to
fuck
justify their
kids.
actions, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
it's just sad that there's like I don't know. Those are the corners of the
Is
internet
this-
that I never thought I'd find, and now they're just very much in my face.
It's not
Yeah,
like
it's
an academic term, is it?
bro. I mean,
I
like
hope
they're
not.
trying.
They're trying to make it one.
I mean, they have
trying.
conferences.
Really?
They get all of them together. Unfortunately, there's enough of them to get them together at a conference, and they like fight for their rights, and they'll try and influence legislation, saying like, "This is okay. This is a group of us," and blah blah blah.
Well,
it's so gross.
Did you guys see the volleyball player Steven Van de Velde? He's from
Norway,
Norway.
or somewhere. So, or
Sweden.
Switzerland, or Sweden.
right.
he raped a kid. He was 19, raped a 12-year-old. He went to another country to do it. He ends up getting extradited back to his country after serving like a year over there. They extradited him back to Sweden or Norway, where the fuck he's from. And they let him out in a month after that. Because I looked into his case. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Poland?
Not Poland. Can you look up where Steven Van de Velde was from?
It's also important for our listeners that have not, met you or heard of you, John, that you've also passed or graduated from law school.
Yeah, it's a tiny detail.
Yeah, when you're looking up these things, like there's
Is
you have
that-
genuine
Yeah, he
interest.
does.
So that's how you're able. It's sometimes when you dig into somebody, it's like you know so much about them right away.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know this?
Well,
So,
what's
anyway-
the places to search?
Yeah.
It's
Well, back to Steven. So he gets extradited back to, because we're talking about like minor attracted person being a thing. So he gets extradited back to wherever he's from. They let him out in a month. And I was like, that's fucking weird. Like, I wonder what's going on in that country. At the time that all this is happening, they had just gotten rid of, finally, there was a 20-year, like the Democrats and the Republicans, there was a party, a system that was all these people saying, oh, you know what? Relationships where the minor consents should be okay between a minor and adult. There was a whole fucking movement for 20 years in his country where people were trying to make it okay to have relationships with little kids.
and that just ended.
And
that
not
was
just
ongoing
ended.
until recently.
It was like 2015.
Yeah.
When it went out. But it's
And you're like, and you're like, oh, these minors are 100%. It's okay to groom, and these minors are 100% like fit to make these decisions.
yeah, I found a Dutch reporter that was like kind of defending Steven Van de Velde. Oh, he did his time, and well, it wasn't aggravated because the guy's point was he didn't use a knife to force the child to have sex with him, so it wasn't that much of a crime. That was his argument.
Yikes!
I know. And so I start shitting on this guy, and he's on Twitter like trying to shit back at me. And his own people are like, yo, bro, like face the wall.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny because like it was in his language too, so the translation just like wouldn't come over in the same way. And what was it? He was like, I don't remember.
I was hitting translate on X Twitter, and it's like in Dutch, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I see like, blah, 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 GOOB, blah, 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 GOOB, and I hit translate, and they're like, yeah, I rock with this GOOB guy. Like, that's cool, thanks. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to, he's like excusing this shit. It's just super weird, man.
dude.
Go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say, do these videos? Is that is this the direction that you would like your brand to keep going, or you want to go more after the sex offender list? Are you think you're going to do more call outs for bodybuilders? Where would you like to basically take that talent?
I think everything has its place. Like the Photoshop stuff it's funny. It builds a viewership, right? If I did sex offenders every single day, you're gonna get fatigue. Like any of the pages for like animal shelters, they have fatigue, like donor fatigue. They send you a bad story every single day. You never go to that page and feel great about yourself.
Yeah, I was
until
gonna
you
say
get
it's
money.
pretty heavy looking at these sex offenders
Every day,
for sure.
every day. So like you can't do that. You really have to like spread it out over like some entertainment, some funny, some personal, some whatever. And let's try to like my page is things that are interesting to me. I never think about like what do people want to see. I think about what's interesting to me and how can I communicate that to you. And sometimes it's like, wow, here's a really fucked up story. This sick ass pedophile that should probably be, 6 feet in the ground. Like, let's see what's up. What can we do about that? And sometimes it's little Debbie,
Some
it really
comedic
depends.
relief.
We're gonna rewind it real quick back to the infamous picture of you in that badass katana motorcycle.
Oh God.
Okay, not because of any other reason besides you've been into bodybuilding for a long time, but at that time you wouldn't be able to tell that you were super into bodybuilding. And my question is, when did you start to really lean in to the industry?
Like a year after that photo was taken, I was like 20 maybe in that photo, and when I was 21, I joined a gym. And I just happened to, I couldn't afford a gym at the time. I worked at a call center, and I would get up
This
at
is where
8.
we're living in West Virginia?
Yeah, I was in Morgantown, West Virginia. And there was a gym called Rob's Fitness Factory that was like a 24-hour gym. And after 8 o'clock, it was unmanned. It was like a badge in. And I figured out that I would get off work, and I would just go and wait in the parking lot and wait for someone to go in and like
Follow them in. Yeah.
And I just
all
happened to
done
join
that
this
trick.
gym. I couldn't afford a gym, and I was like, man, I need to get, I woke up one day and I was like, I'm unfuckable. Like I really need to do something about this. And I just like went to the gym. I don't know what, it was like weird. I just woke up and I was like, I know what to do about this. Like, I'll just go to the fucking gym. No plan. Just like showed up one day, walked in. Like I knew I could do it. Cause I saw, I was like, I could probably just like walk in there after 8 o'clock and see what's up. Yeah.
Totally fine.
And so I just walk in, and it's like this bodybuilder plus mom gym. Like a mom gym to me is like the ones where it's like Lifetime Fitness type of thing. But there's like this group of hardcore bodybuilders that also work out there too. And so I started going at the hours that they were there, like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And one day the one dude comes up and he's like, hey, you're here training all the time. You want to train with us? And I was like, sure. And I'm like working out with these dudes. And I don't know, like they just had work ethic. And it was like the first time I ever walked into that gym, there's this dude named Spencer Farley. I still remember. He's like skull fucking 315. It's like his warm up, just a bench mat. Like he's a monster. And I just remember like I walked in, and that was my reference point of like what strong was. And I never went to like a Lifetime or like a 24-hour fitness or a regular gym. And just in my mind, like normal gym shit was like Spencer Farley, just skull fucking 315. And so like 2 years go by, and I finally go to a different gym, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like you walk in, I'm like, everybody has gloves on. Nobody's benching. Like nobody's squatting. What the fuck is this? And that was how I got into bodybuilding. It was
So
just
like
normal.
your normal was like the hardcore gym scene.
Yeah, it was like Spencer Farley just being way better than I will ever be. That was it.
That when you got into it, had you played organized sports or anything prior to that?
No, I was in the track team, but just to like
To socialize.
socialize.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is your first time. Like, I mean, training with a group of like-minded people is fucking awesome.
It was
it's just
cool,
one of
man.
the
It was
cooler
cool.
experiences out there.
And I sucked too. Like I was the worst guy, like the weakest one. Like even at the strongest that I've ever been, I would still have been the weakest in that crew of dudes, which is cool. They were all like fucking like 500-pound benchers.
Do you keep up with those dudes at all anymore?
Yeah, they're like all old as shit, but like, Rob, what's up? Shout out.
Good. Sounds like a group of good dudes.
Spencer, this is me, like 21-year-old, like little fucking dork on the motorcycle. We have Spider Rob. He's from Alabama. He moves to West Virginia. He's an oil field worker.
Sweet name.
He is like, if you saw him in public and it was like dark and you were by yourself, you'd be like, fuck. He's like this old, like southern white guy that's massive, always in his overalls because he just got off fucking the shift and he's there to bench. Bald, spider tattoo in the back of his head, and just an animal, like, 650 dead casually after a 24-hour shift type of guy. And then Spencer Farley, who was just like the most athletic motherfucker ever. And then a guy named Jeff that was way stronger than I'll ever be. And me.
You're like, all right, guys, I'm ready to go.
They're like, you want to work out with us? I was like, am I being punked? I was like, yeah, sure.
Well, it's kind of fun to be in a gym, though, where everyone's stronger and better than you because it like forces you to be good at it.
It was great. I hated myself every day.
The first
Gotta
time that I
step
ever
up.
walked into like a powerlifting gym was in Springfield, Missouri, and it was called Strong Gym. And I remember the first time I walked in there, and I was like,
Storage like facility.
I was always like
basically.
the strongest one, like out of our friends. And so I was like, yeah, I'll go check out this gym. And I walk in there, and there's like
Matt Reynolds.
Clint Lowe in there squatting 1,000 pounds. I was like, what? I was like, that's possible?
A reference.
And he would just do like 4 squats the whole hour I was there. And I was just like, and you just, that's the workout?
Eating
You just
McDonald's
do
in between
that?
sets.
I guess if you squat that much, it's just, that's what you do.
Yeah.
8-minute rest periods.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to join this gym.
Yeah, it's motivating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, damn, like, I got a long way to, people that are like, when I bench 225, I'll be awesome. Like, for me, I was like, 4 plates, like that's when I'll be happy.
Yeah.
From the moment I started lifting, I was like, 4 plates is
if
the
you're around
benchmark.
really strong people, that is like the benchmark. It's like for strong people, 405 is like the 225.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's like, all right, now you can.
But you're on TikTok now, and dudes are like, finally, you've been 225. Like, buddy, we wouldn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
I would not tell my friends.
Three plates is the minimum for you to even like bring things up.
I remember the first time I benched 225, I did it by myself. I was working in a hospital, these overnight shifts, and they had a gym that we could go to on our break. And it was like, I was like, I'm just going to go and like see if I can do it. And I did it for like 2. And I racked it. I didn't even film it. And I was like, all right, that's cool. But like, fuck, now we got to go to 3.
What's next?
Well, the next big one is throwing those 25s on the sides, right?
Yeah. 275.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen for a really long time.
You guys, you have all these, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. All right. You have call out videos now for sex offenders. We do bodybuilders. Is there anything other genre that is like worth noting? Is there like businesses that you can call out? Is there anything else that you're like eyeing on? Maybe we should try this.
I don't know. There's like, I've done like little fraud stuff here and there and like that type of thing, or like
scammers.
Yeah, scammers. I don't know. I honestly, it's so the worst thing. Like, I'll be at expos sometimes, and I've had people come up to me, and they're like, "Oh, let's take a picture." This girl, she's like, "Let's take a picture," and I was like, "Okay." And she's like shaking. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" And after we take the picture, she's like, I just want to say, like, you called me out last year, and like, thank you." And I was like, I thought she was trolling me. I was like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "Yeah, my name is," and I was like, and in my mind, like, I've done it like I just don't remember. And she's like, I hyped this moment up, you know, like she's like, I gotta tell him, and I was like, you're good. Like,
No worries, girl.
I don't know.
It was never personal.
Yeah, it never is. And yes, I just don't even remember half the shit that I did.
I feel like it's just the general idea of a moral compass, though.
Yeah.
It's like what is wrong, and it's like what we all wish we could say to people in person and call them out for, but it's not so socially acceptable to. So it's kind of like
You're shedding
that
light on
ballpark.
something that needed to be shed light on, I think. And I think that everybody watching can see that. And when that person who is not self-aware posts that and says, I bet you no one knows this, no one can tell, and you're like, no, we definitely can tell, and we're all seeing it, and we're all, time to get right with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guarantee you've helped a ton of people.
Well, it's like even like the Photoshop, it's just like being a woman in this industry and like being on Instagram in like 2015 to now, and like how fitness has changed on there. And it's the amount of people who are actually genuinely affected by women photoshopping in the industry is like, it changes people's lives. It's like, oh, well, why can't I look like this girl? But like, she doesn't even look like the way that she looks. And they'll aspire for years and years and years. And it's,
Have you seen the women's mental health data versus men's with social media? It's crazy.
I'm sure it's drastically
crazy.
sad.
It's like 40% higher negative effects on women's mental health than it is on men's.
well, it's as like a, I feel like just like a gender in general, like we're aware of the way that we look more so than other people, and it's like you saying, like, you guys want to get strong and big and whatever, and it's like, oh, women want to look good. It doesn't matter like what the function is. It's like, this is the purpose. And so if like you're selling plans and like motivating people and lying to them and talking to them about your journey that's fake, it's like, this is hurting little girls. Like, this 14-year-old girl that's looking up to this woman who is something she would so aspire to be, and she's a business owner and whatever, and it's like, oh, her business is actually fake, and she scams people, and she's photoshopping her pictures. It's like, it's underlyingly like hurting so many people that you wouldn't notice because they're literally kids. But it's, so many moms message you and they're like, thank you, I show my teenage daughter your videos, and like tell her to like, don't hate yourself, like, it's okay. Like, these people don't look like themselves either. This is all fake.
It's women doing it to other women too. It's crazy.
That's the sad part.
It's so hard to like, I don't know. If you're a man and you end up on my page, like, you're usually in bad shape because it's like you're a fucking rapist or a thief or a pedophile or like you did something fucked. If you're a woman, like 9 times out of 10, you're just editing your pictures.
And it's those body positivity ones that kill me, man. That like their caption will literally be like, love yourself where you're at.
Yeah, it's like, you don't, but you don't.
The first time I saw your videos, I was like, because I've been in the fitness industry for so long, I was like, I looked at one of them, I was like, well, of course people edit their videos or edit their photos, because prior to social media, well, who was doing that? It was
Magazines.
bodybuilding magazines. And because of bigger, faster, stronger, things like that. I was just very aware of that kind of stuff.
Same day photo shoots. Before and afters.
You know,
But
I used to
it's-
get that comment all the time.
Yeah.
And I made a point. My mission was to always reply to that comment.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to change this. Because I would get the comment, oh, magazines have been doing it for whatever. And I would always just reply, why should we always do things the way we've always done them? Does that ever progress the world?
Yeah.
And something to that tune, I would always reply, I don't get that comment anymore.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the
Never.
thing
Yeah, why is this
that
okay?
I realized is that even when magazines were doing it, most people didn't know magazines were doing
Exactly.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also what makes it bad too is like, you know, when you're connecting the mental health aspect of things or profiting off of a lie.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you're using your photoshopped images to the booty chick that you were talking about, you know, if you're using that to sell a booty pump program.
And they'll be like,
They're all doing that.
and they'll say another comment is like, oh, well, they look good anyway. Like, so what, they're doing it. They have a great body. Great argument. Why would great argument? You have a great body. Don't do it. Would you sell the same
There you
amount?
go.
Yeah. Would you sell the same amount if you didn't? Is that what you're saying? Then stop doing it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Why are you doing it?
I think too, in like magazines and stuff, like it's people idolize them. It's like someone that's not relatable. It's like these are you look at it. This is a famous model or something like that. But the people that are in your community,
you
it's
feel
like
like
the
you
girl
know
you see
them.
at the gym.
Yeah.
It's like these are people that we actually know and can relate to. So it's different. It's like in your home.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's who you're surrounded by. It's who your friend is friends with or something like that.
You're not on like a photo shoot set
Yes.
when you're taking
Yeah.
the picture. When these people,
But then, like, you have to ask, like, why is that the gold standard, and why can't the gold standard just be authenticity?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, oh, we've always done it that way. Like, that's never a great policy.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you were in, like, the 40s in Germany and you
greatest
said we've
argument there
always
ever
done it
was.
that way, like, that's a horrible argument.
here's a question for you, because I think this is coming pretty quick, is what do you think about like AI? Because I feel like people are going to start prompting AI images of themselves that reduce their imperfections.
I think it's so, like, the human eye is just so good, bro.
Yeah.
And, like, I see AI and right away, it's like,
You know.
You know what the fuck this is. The dumbest person knows what AI is when they see it, I promise you. And, like, I get sent it all the time. I get sent more AI shit than anything nowadays because everybody knows immediately. There's a ton of coaches out there that are doing before and afters with
yeah.
AI. And it's obvious as fuck. And you don't even really need to say anything. It's like you can zoom in on like the fingernails or something that's all fucked up. But just looking at it, like we know that's not a real human and that's a digitally created image. It's so easy to see.
But a lot of them, like the transformation pictures, they'll have like a before picture of like a normal woman or a normal man or something, and then completely alter, like make woman 30 pounds slimmer or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't even go through any type of transformation at all. You actually don't know this lady, and they're faking it.
Yeah.
So,
or
but
it
I
could be a
think-
person that doesn't exist, is
Yeah.
what
That's
I've
what
seen.
Most of
where
it
it's
is just like two fake images.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like we know when we're looking at a human or not. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's so obvious to just
I'm just worried that they're going to figure that out and they're going to make it to where it's like very hard to distinguish.
But it's one of those things where it's like what other levels of fail safe are there? Here's an easy one. Why aren't you tagging the person?
Yeah.
And
that's
they
true.
no comments. It's
Yeah.
like my client went through a 3-year transformation. I love her. I'm so proud of her. No comments.
Yeah. What's
It's
their
like, where
name?
is
I'd love
she?
to see if they want to refer me to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
She don't
It's
exist.
just not a real person.
Yeah.
I feel like people just need to learn how to do their own research. It's
Yeah.
like so easy to see something on the surface, but it's like how, you look at anything else. It's like who's tagged, who commented. Like
Comments
there's ways to figure out.
when you pull open a comment that's an ignorant comment and it's just like a person that has 100 followers and they're following 5,000 people and it's a private account, it is crazy to me. People don't understand that that's not a real person.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that is fake.
That is not real. That
is
comment,
fake.
just imagine that comment didn't happen
Yeah.
because it's not a real person.
Yep.
Do you know what socialblade.com is? Oh, it's the best $20 you'll ever spend. So it'll show you point in time when followers joined a page. So say for instance, I tomorrow wake up and I say I want 1 million followers and I buy whatever, to 1 million I need, a couple 100,000. It will show this giant spike today. And then you can go and look at my page and see the timeline and be like, all right, well, what did John post? Did Joe Rogan post him today? And that explains 200,000 people going to your page? No.
He didn't even make a post that day.
Yeah, interesting. Just 200,000 people just jumped on your page that day. Like, weird. You bought them. And it'll show you this, like, almost like the health of your account the last however many months. When did you get followers? What was your timeline? What did your graph look like? And you can pick it apart and be like, oh, well, on January 23rd, this person went from 40,000 followers to 1.1 million. Doesn't make any sense. Go socialblade.com.
What's funny too, though,
awesome.
is
The
like
next video series.
they're trying to
I
like
use it all the time.
get around that because they know that people are watching nowadays.
Yeah.
So they like splice it out. They'll be like 100K
Oh, yeah.
this week, 100K the next week, and it's like, wow, imagine if you put that effort into like making good content,
Right.
Yeah.
and actually
Their
like,
engagement though
becoming
is
someone.
terrible because obviously the bots are not real. So their ratio of people that are engaging to their following count makes their engagement terrible.
Well, it's like you're
A
just
good
not going to
thing
make
to-
any money. You don't actually have followers or supporters.
Right,
Like,
so I
what
mean,
influence do you actually have, and what is the goal in the end? Just to look cool, or like?
Well, I know
be
people
cool?
what their goal is. I know a girl that does this. She will sell herself to companies like, hey, Young LA, I want to work with you. I have 8 million followers, and look at all my whatever. And they build the page to try to lock a company into a contract. They get in the contract. The company's now on the hook for 12 months of whatever it is. And guess what? She's not going to make a fucking single sale because every single thing is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's probably spending $1,000, $2,000 a month.
But my question is like, if I look at, it's so easy to tell if someone has bought followers because their engagement is nothing.
Well, some of these companies, to them, let's hire on for. She's asking for 4K. Cool. She's got 7 million followers, 4K. I'm not even gonna look at it. Snap yes.
It's like 30 seconds of extra work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's so weird to me. Yeah.
All
It's
of
so
these
wild
companies
to me.
need to have somebody that really. But it's
And the comments can all just be, here's another classic, right? Like we're all in the same industry.
Emojis.
Fire, fire, fire.
100 bot comments or even more depth, right? It's people within the same industry who are trying to push for the same thing. And so they all get on together. And so it's like,
10K a month.
yeah, fashion, I
That's
used to
called
date a girl
a,
that was a fashion, blogger, right? A beauty blogger of some sort. And she was in this group where it was like, there was 100 other girls in that group.
There's
that
a
were
name
all-
for that.
What's it called?
Engagement pods.
Engagement pods. Yeah, she was in one, and it was just like all of her comments were these people that were trying to gas her up because they were also wanting to be gassed up for their posts, and none of it
It's
was
the
authentic.
same 100 people.
Do you know
On
what's
everyone,
awesome though?
yeah, yeah.
So Instagram is so smart. Meta is so smart. Algorithm wise, they're constantly making the app better. They figured that shit out pretty quickly, and these people continue to do it, right? But here's what happened: like if you make yourself in the engagement pod, they figure out, okay, of the 100 comments that you had in the last 24 hours, 100 of them were of this same group of people. And then they compare, okay, they put them all in like a fucking idiot room. So all of them are just seeing each other's stuff, not getting broadcast to anybody else, just seeing it. So they're like, they just like section them off and they're like, all right, here's all these fucking idiots over here. They're never going to be recommended. They won't show up in the Explorer. They can run the fucking comments up to 200 in the first 10 minutes, which they think is going to like push them into the algorithm, but it doesn't. They just cut them off and put them all in the same thing. Because like, how hard would it be to write a script to say, okay, if these same 60 people are always the first 100 comments, then put them all in their own ecosystem and get fucked.
Yeah, it's easy to recognize. Just
Yeah. And
Put
so
them all in
you'll
the same
see,
room.
it's like, wow, why have you been doing this for 6 months? You all are always doing the same thing and none of you grew. Why are you continuing to do it?
And they're charging people
Yeah.
to be taught
It's always
how
the
to do it.
scammy traders like the FTX stuff and
Forex.
Forex.
Yes.
Yeah. They're just like,
Oh
oh,
my
my
God.
God.
So there's a TikTok account. I'll pull it up and I'll show you guys after, but it's sort of like it's that 2022 period of time where Forex people all like popped up and they're like going to Airbnbs and giving speeches and like just fucking scamming people. It has that entire timeline just like narrated to a T. That was a beautiful time, by the way. Do you remember that?
For
Forex?
scammers?
Yeah.
I mean, I never gave it any. I genuinely never gave it a second thought.
They're like, oh, we buy currency and then sell currency. Like somehow they're making like some margin on the dollar. It just made no
an
sense
MLM.
to me. Yeah,
It's an MLM and
the
they're
same-
all buying it from each other.
It's the same thing as people trying to sell me on NFTs getting blowing up.
Yeah, it was the same. It was honestly the same people.
And it's just like, just the whole idea of like a digital anything. It's like, well, it's just not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
This girl reached out to me and she was going to try and help me promote my show. And she cast herself as someone. She sent me this like,
Oh my God.
this PowerPoint. I was like, do you know? Like, she must not know. I'd never
Yeah.
met her before.
That's
and
so funny.
she sent me this like PowerPoint and she's like, I've worked with Skrillex and Orange Theory Global for all of their events, whatever. Doesn't have a website. I'm like, girl, you don't know, And she's trying to sell me all this stuff. And she's like, yeah, I can get you a billboard today. And I'm like, a physical billboard you could put up today. It's like, it was so ridiculous. And she kept trying to get me on the phone. That's how they do it. Because they're talkers. And this is how people like get sucked into it. Like even the 10K a month scams and stuff, it's like you get them on the phone and you just like talk to them. Because they're great talkers. They're very personable. And like that's how these things like accumulate, and they have all of the group calls and the group coaching, and you feel like you're a part of a community.
It's just so much work.
But it's so
why not just do it right?
Oh yeah, what if you put this effort into something?
I just don't
Imagine
understand.
just making an advertising business, and like maybe I was like, can you send me your website? Couldn't do it. I'm like, just make a like at least fake it. Like I don't know. This is really weird.
Here's some
Have you guys seen the pages that are the hackers that hack into the scammers in like India and overseas?
Yeah, they're like watching their closed
They're
circuit
watching
TV
their-
cameras and shit. Yeah, they're like, "What time is it in California?" They're like, "Hang on, sir." Like, wait a minute.
He's like, you're wearing a blue shirt, and they're like, oh.
Those are great. I've seen those.
All right, that's basically the stuff I like on
That's
the
the-
internet.
that's the
It's
best
just
inter- that's
that
the best of the
that
internet
and
right there.
pedophiles
That guy's
getting
an
punched
animal.
in the face.
Yeah. Like my two options.
Dads against predators.
John, I want to swing it back to some pointed call out, like kind of all timers. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're gonna get into one. There. One I want to ask is, of all your call outs, right? We talked about Donna Briggs being a phenomenal redemption story. Shout out Donna for being a good person after all. But tell me about one that you just did not anticipate. Like you're saying, like you've done so many, you don't even remember which ones. But the ones that really get sticky are when they try to say that they didn't do it, and they just dig themselves into a deeper hole, right? What one comes to mind where someone dragged this out and it just became like, now it was like a 4-post smear campaign because they could not stop it?
We got MMA Dad was one.
We love MMA Dad.
Do you remember MMA Dad?
Dude, we got to go through the whole saga for our listeners.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
His name is Dan Marcantel. He was like the biggest chirper of all time. Any single time I would leave, I'd make a post, he would comment on it and just say something nasty. And one day I was like, fuck this guy. And I look at his profile and he's got like, his name is like MMA Dad 74 or something.
Yeah.
And his
Profile
whole
pic is like a sports logo.
yeah, and all of his stuff is like MMA reposts and Conor McGregor and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet if I DM this guy some crazy shit, it'll like be good lore. And so I just sent him a DM and I say, hey Dan, want to fight? That was
Not
it.
to MMA
Like,
Dad.
you want to fight? Like I was very polite. I was like, would you like to fight? He replied, do you know what copy pasta is?
No.
So it's like internet lore where you look at it and you're like, this can't possibly be something that somebody typed not as a joke. Have you ever seen the one where it's like, you just talked to a military sniper with 300 confirmed kills? That's a copy pasta. Yeah. This guy sends me this crazy reply where he's like, I can't fight a civilian. I'm an MMA superstar with a 14-4 professional record and this and that and a black belt. And he like lists all
long.
these. Yeah,
It's
lists
long.
all these accomplishments about like, he's like, I'd kill you. I have registered
from
hands.
from your 5-word sentence.
Yeah.
that you sent him?
I said, do you want to fight? And he's like, I can't. I would love to, and I'd murder you, but I can't. This
He's
whole
like,
copy pasta shit. Yeah. And I'm me, right? And so I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Let's see if any of this is true. And so I figure out his name isn't on his profile or anything, but he's tagged in some stuff, and he has like a Facebook page that has a little thing. And I find these little nuggets back and forth. And I find out that his last name is Marcantel, and I find out that he has a kid named Caden. And I start to piece it together, and I look into like, there's a website called Tapology, and there's another website that categorizes like your professional fights. And weirdly enough, Dan Marcantel is nowhere in any of these.
No.
Weird. He's not a professional fighter at all. And there's nowhere that owns him as a black belt or anything. Like, this shit is like easy to find online. It takes like, it took me a couple minutes to figure out who he was. But once I know who you are, like if you told me right now, I'm an MMA fighter with a 14-4 record, like
There's clearly record of this somewhere.
30 seconds later, yeah, we know if that's true or not. And so I figure all this out, and I just like sent him his name. And I was like, hey, Dan Marcantel, you don't have a record, screenshot. You don't have a black belt, screenshot. And I sent it to him, and he just blows up. And he's like, nah. And I was like, well, this would be a funny...
So he replies back to this again.
Oh no, that's so unfortunate. He looks like that.
So I do and by the way, him and his son at the time did a podcast where he referred to himself as Big Chungus on the podcast.
You listen to the podcast? I love
Of course.
You for that. I love you for that.
And so
you got their podcast up to 6 listeners.
well, so I sent him all the stuff and I was like, your name's Dan Marcantel. Here's whatever. Here's blah, blah, blah.
By
And
the
he
way, Big Chingus. Sorry.
Big Chungus.
Chungus.
And Big Chungus replies, he's like, that's not me. My name is not Dan Marcantel. You're an idiot. How would you be so stupid? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, interesting. And so I reach out to the son and I was like, hey, is this your dad? He's like, yeah, that's my dad. It's really embarrassing.
It's like, it's oh no.
Oh, he edited this picture, by the way. Look at the door. Oh, you can't even see it. I missed that the first time.
Hello, would you like to fight?
You just asked a BJJ black belt D2 All-American former MMA fighter.
Did you please tell me that you screenshotted his son being like, yeah, it's my dad. It's embarrassing.
No, I didn't. I
That would
didn't
just be publicly.
I didn't want to do that and like shit on his son, but eventually this guy goes back and forth with me, and I'm
That
just
would
like,
suck if that was your dad. You'd be like, dude, come on. I know it's bad enough already.
his name's Caden, and he's the nicest fucking kid.
That's
ever.
why you didn't post it. Got it.
So anyway, I like do this thing, and he's like back and forth, and I just like post. I like bleed the story out because it's like fun. I was like, this is like some lore. He's just gonna. This guy's crazy. So it keeps going back and forth, whatever. Do you know who McDojo Life is?
Oh, yes.
So he's a famous YouTuber, and all he does is crack down on. He's like me, but in the YouTube world of MMA and combat sports.
Yeah.
And he'll get the guys that are like the 4-finger death punch technique that a master samurai taught
hits
me.
the shoulder.
Yeah.
They
He gets those guys, and he's been doing it for years.
I
and
love that.
So McDojo Life fucking reaches out to me, and he's like, "Dude, I want to do a deep dive on this. What do you think?" And I was like, I'd be honored. Go for
Insert
it.
the meme of like you guys doing the double team fucking group.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes.
So we got on a phone call, and he's like, here's where I'm thinking. He's like, the son talked to me a little bit, and he agreed to do an interview. And so this fucking guy, McDojo Life, the most legendary guy in the fucking bullshit call out space of fighting, gets this kid's son on to basically get him to confirm that none of the shit he said was real. With all of his viewers watching, like, this guy got super cooked. I could never cook him.
Like his own son.
His own son
Couldn't be worse.
is on the witness stand.
No one's more tired of the bullshit than his son, I'm guessing.
I was like, God, Dad.
Dude, it was so fucked up. I was like, I'm looking at this like, damn, like Dan Marcantel really got the shit end of the stick. I started to feel bad for him a little bit, but then the Goobies were coming around, and I was like, we could get more juice out of this. So I invite him to the Goobies, and I was like, dude, I'll fly you out, show up, like what accommodations do you need? I'll get you a hotel. We'll fly you out. I want you to be on the Goobies. Like, come and get your award in person. You're getting an award for being a piece of shit. And he's like, I'd love to, but if I was on the set, I would choke you out. And I was like, okay, Dan, like just show up, like shut the fuck up.
And he's still typing these things.
Yes.
For people?
He can't contain it.
We've already established that you're not going to choke shit out.
I'm like, Dan, I think I'm good. Like, you're not going to choke me out. He's like, I'll come, but I'm going to choke you out. I was like, cool. Where do I send you? What airport do you want? Like, he's like, no, I also want $5,000. And we actually have sponsors that like sponsor this event every year. And so we raised a good bit of money. And I was like,
There's certainly a fighting brand, MMA brand out here over the $5,000
next year? Yes.
That's right.
and I was like,
He's already tapped out sponsored.
Shout out Tap Out.
Yeah.
so I look at the budget and I was like, Dan, I can pay you. And this is Dan Marcantel, a fucking nobody that is just in the middle of Arizona, legend in his own mind. I offer him $2,000 and to fly him out and to put him
t-shirt. Sorry.
up and an affliction t-shirt to show up and collect his award for being a fucking piece of shit. And he says, no, I want 10,000. He just keeps changing it. I was like, motherfucker. So he ends up not fucking coming. I was happy. I was going to pay, by the way. I was totally going to pay. He ends up telling me, no. We have to put it in escrow. No, I want 20,000. He just keeps changing. He wanted a limousine. He wanted like.
This is so dramatic. I mean, he's a star.
He's like, is there a Ritz-Carlton nearby? I'm like, dude, it's fucking New Braunfels. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so we end up ordering a black belt off of Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
And
Putting in escrow money you do not have and can't afford to cover.
oh my god. What a guy.
Well,
I think it's funny. The funniest part about this,
3 months later, still relevant.
He still talks to us. I mean, he still comments.
that there is a generation that hasn't fully figured out the internet yet. And so they think that like I can kind of be whoever I want to be.
That's him.
And it's so funny to see him get smacked with reality. Like, hey, brother, you can't.
I'm like, dude, I
that's
have
not how
your
the
LinkedIn.
internet works.
He's still trying to catfish people like it's 2006.
Well, he pops up and he'll have like a new username or whatever, and he comments on my stuff too, whatever. But it's always MMA, and so it's like he doesn't get the like we know who you are, and the way that he speaks is the same. So it says like MMA. And it's a blank profile, and he's saying the same shit.
Yeah,
he's
just wildly irrational shit.
He's always following his son and the MMA gym his son fights at. It's like, bro, I know. But anyway, so we get for the Goobies this year, he won the Keyboard Warrior Award. And I ordered a black belt off of Amazon. And I wanted to hand him this so bad. But I ordered a black belt off of Amazon, and we had written on it Keyboard Warrior Award 2024. And I like wanted to give it to him when he was there, like give him a real black belt, but you know, he didn't show up.
In some kind of ceremonious way.
Yeah, I was gonna
present it to
I was gonna take him out to dinner and just like, I don't know, I just wanted to see.
Just pick that brain.
We were gonna film the whole thing and just like, Dan, what?
He shows up in like a full Marines uniform.
Yeah.
He's like,
like,
I'm a
different
Marine.
dimension.
You're like, dude, come on. How much stolen valor can you have?
Then you got the deep dive stolen valor guy coming on.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. That was the Shitfluencer of the Year award. That was the center one. If you see the Goobies logo on it,
That's amazing, dude.
We have
It's
it in
got
our house.
Part Lombardi, part
that was. I mean, that's a nice trophy.
It's very. I mean, dude, it's. I mean, like the nicest.
Yeah, we
like,
spent a lot on trophies this last year.
It's impressive, man.
Yeah, it's a great trophy. That was.
We'll be in full support of the Goobies this year for sure.
I think Ross has the Keyboard Warrior belt.
Yeah, Ross has it, and I kept the big award because nobody came to pick it up. I invited Paige Hathaway. She
Okay.
won one, and I was like, Paige.
for her being like the original
No,
Instagram booty
No,
editor.
there was a new
Shreds.
So Paige Hathaway was posting a waist snatching.
It was like pants, or she was like,
It was a top, a blouse,
Yeah.
a waist. She's like waist snatching blouse, and so she fucks up. She posts 2 photos of it back to back. The first photo she posted was the edited one, and then she was posting a continuation to give the link to it, and she accidentally posted the unedited one. It's on her story, right? So you're clicking through, and you're like,
Oh, it just changed immediately.
yeah, and you just see the waist go.
Dude,
Sadly,
she's
it
like,
was
yeah,
like,
it's very waist slimming.
yeah, you're like oldest trick in the book. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, that's just like amateur hour shit right
Yeah.
here.
And so I did a video on that, and it's literally just me laughing, clicking through her story, not even saying anything, and it like went fucking
I remember
nuts.
that one. Yeah.
She starts calling me. She's like, "Take it down, take it down." I'm like, "Paige, leave me alone." But I wanted
she
to.
already has a tiny waist.
Yeah,
They always do though.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
to be in the
No.
bodybuilding world, she does not. But
and
she's blocky.
she's been called out.
In the bodybuilding world,
She lost a lot from the Shreds era when she got called out for doing this before. Like she was editing her photos back in 2014. And like if anybody would not be doing this and fucking around, you'd think it'd be Paige Hathaway.
right? The OG of it all. Right.
So she won. I think she won the Gooby for the Shitfluencer of the Year
I
for
think that's what it was.
2024.
Yeah, yeah.
And I offered to fly her out, and she blocked me. You know.
Weird enough.
Fully declined.
Dude, think if you were around during that Shreds era. Oh my God.
Dustin
Every
physique.
Shreds
I would have
athlete.
cleaned up.
Joey
Every
Swole.
Shreds athlete.
Cleaned up.
It is cool what Joey Swole does now, though.
Joey crushes.
He's
Yeah.
like, he calls people out.
He's also just he's finally 100% authentic.
Yeah.
seemingly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a
He's a
good
good
dude.
guy.
He
He's a
calls
good
me
guy.
probably like once a week. He was just at the LA Fit Expo, and he called me. One of his fans was they were in line bullshitting, and they were like, "Do you watch GOOB?" And he's like, "I love GOOB." And he calls me. He's like, "One of your fans wants to say hi." I was like, "Hi, Joey. How you
cool.
doing?" Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
That's cool,
Interesting
man.
guy.
The
He's a
next
good guy.
the next call out I want to talk through is the best redemption story for a brand. The brand you're wearing, First Form. We happened to be at headquarters when you first called
That's
them out.
so funny.
We were at ground zero when the bomb went off, and
Literally.
the bomb went off, dude.
Oh my god!
Can we hear the audio on this, Luke? Can we get the audio for the podcast too? This is unreal.
It's like a minute and a half long. Oh. I can just summarize it.
Yeah.
So basically,
Andy was being a good dude right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a video on a First Form athlete that was editing their stuff, and I sort of say, and by the way, before any of this, I watched Real AF and MFCEO like all the time, and I was like a huge Andy fan. And this comes to my desk, and I'm like, This is a touchy subject. Like this is a big one here. Like I know exactly where this is gonna go. So I do the video on one of the athletes calling him out for editing. And it's like fucking 10 minutes go by and Andy Frisella calls me. I don't know how the fuck he got my phone number, but it goes to voicemail. And I was like, no, I can't play favorites. I can't. Cause it's like,
as soon as you saw like a 314 number, St. Louis number, I know this is Andy.
Yeah, I was like, fucking Missouri. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, who else is calling me from Missouri 5 minutes after I post a first form video? Like, I wonder who.
Right.
Let it go to voicemail. I listened to the voicemail. I was like, no, it has to be public. Because for me, it's like authenticity. I will shit on my best friend if it's authentic.
You kill it. Yeah.
I have
like
to.
it's full transparency. It's why it's so great.
And it makes people around me level up. They don't do stupid shit. Because I don't want anybody doing dumb shit in my presence, and I want my friends to be great. So, like, don't do dumb shit around me.
Yeah.
Nobody does. Katie knows. If she fucking edited her photos,
I'm like the
roast.
Yeah, the OG
Roast.
Like, yeah. No, yeah.
I told her when shit started popping off, I was like, hey, I've never looked at your really old photos, but like if there's anything there,
You might want to get those off.
because if somebody sent it to me, I wouldn't be like, babe, delete that right now. I'd be like, well, I've seen it, so.
Like now I'll do like photo shoots sometimes nowadays, and I have to like go to the photographer and have a talk with them, because as we were saying, like magazines, they Photoshop, and I'm like, listen, this will ruin my life. Like I will be
really
destroyed
bad.
on the internet.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, like we'll just, if there's like a little thing. I'm like, no. Please God, don't
Do
do
not.
this to me. I'm like, this will destroy my shit. Like,
So anyway, I do the video. He calls me, and I'm like, I can't do this, and I keep doing more. And I like had it organized.
You also were like, Andy, quit calling me on the internet. I'm like, dude,
Andy, I don't want to talk to
when
you.
Kyle or I get a call from Andy, it is like, oh fuck. It is never good.
It was so tough because I was like, man, like I love this guy, and I know that he has integrity and will fix this shit, but like I have to be brutal about this because other brands will look at it. And they'll be like, if First Form's doing this, we have to fucking change something. So it's like I keep going up the ladder of like more important athletes. I have a list of like 5 or 6.
Keep going, Luke.
And I keep going. More important, more important, more important. I get to like fucking charity wit. It's like just the top of the food chain. And I get noticed from a guy that's
the Grim Reaper post
that knows me and is close to Andy. And he's like, dude, they sent out 800 fucking new contracts today. Oh my God.
oh God.
Bro, I mean, because we are not technically, I mean, I don't talk to Andy nearly as much as I used to when I worked directly for him. But he was like, if you have anybody that is associated with the brand that is editing photos, he's like, I will fucking, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like now.
And that's
Now.
like the whole reason I went so hard at him was I like other brands would just fucking block me or ignore it. And I was like, Andy will fucking turn that shit upside down and make an example and like change it. Yeah. So he sends out all these fucking new content. Like I heard like it was maybe a week goes by and the guy, he calls me, his name's Lewis, and he's like, dude, like they just sent out like 800 new contracts, and he hired somebody to like audit all of their profiles to make sure nobody's editing. And I was like, fucking sweet. And then it's like, a few weeks go by and nothing. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that's fine. And a year goes by and I'm at, where was I? In Brooklyn at that Natural Body.
Oh, Natural Body.
Yeah.
Their Epic Block Party.
Yeah.
I'm at the Epic Block Party, and some dude comes up to me. He's wearing a Panerai watch, a Carbotech, which is like a very,
If you know, you know.
yeah, it's a very cool $28,000 watch that not everybody has.
Sal Frisella.
Yes,
For sure.
Yes. I don't know it though. Yeah. And we're bullshitting and about watches, and I was wearing when he was like, oh, watch is cool. And he's like, hey, do you know who I am? And I was like, no. I was like, I'm John though. Nice to meet you. And he's like, Sal Frisella. And I was like, oh man, you hate me, don't you? And he's like, no. He's like, you actually helped us grow. Yeah. And it was so like validating to me because
it was the real the intent at the end of the day.
Yeah, me, like it's like you said before, it's never personal. And it's always for like, make example of the good brand, and everybody looks at that like, shit, if they could do it, like we should probably change something. Do you know how many companies I've been sent the GOOB clause from? There's a couple companies I work with right now. They all have a fucking Photoshop clause. Every single one of them. Every big supplement company, they put that shit in there. Like, don't embarrass us. Don't show up on that fucking page because it's bad for us and we see what happens. And it's like, wow, if you go after a big company that has 600 people under them, like those are 600 influential people. Like that's how you change that shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have just been like, oh, let me take the phone call and, okay, take the post down or whatever, or just don't do any more. He says we'll fix it. And like, would that have ever happened? Like, maybe. maybe not.
I think it was a good time to like reinforce or remind people like what the brand stands for, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like authenticity is like at the core. Authenticity and like actually
Integrity,
helping
man.
people. And
Yeah.
integrity is like the core of like that brand. And so it's like, well, you know, if you
Doing the right thing at the end of the day is really like
it was hard,
Yeah.
bro.
the phrase that everybody tries to live by.
Shitting on your heroes is hard. It's really hard.
To be fair, like from the outside looking in, you did a conscious effort to not let anybody know that they would be your heroes or that it pained you. It was like
Nobody
Andy
knows.
Frisilla,
Yeah.
quit fucking calling me. Yeah, I mean, like, dude,
A
you were
tear shed stuff
You were,
aside.
yeah, but I'm saying like you was like
I was talking to her. I was like, babe, this is so.
Like,
this
I'm
sucks
like-
so fucking
Yeah.
much. Hey, yeah, let's go.
Look where we are
Yeah.
now.
But
Well, that's wild, dude.
well, so Sal meets me at the natural body thing, and he's like,
Sal's best student.
he's like, dude, he's like, Andy's like, you guys just got to talk. And I was like, okay. And like, Andy still has my number, and he's like, you know, we're bullshitting. And we talk about Microtech knives. Like, I love Microtech knives.
yeah.
And First Form, because it's fucking Andy, and I don't know how he does all this shit, got Microtech to make a custom First Form line of Microtech knives. And Sal's like, dude, give me your address. I want to send one to you. And I was like, no. He's like, yes.
That's
It's like
exactly why they did it.
3 days later, this
this
shit just
exact
shows up. And I was like, what the fuck? Because in the Microtech world, like, you can't buy this knife, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Because like you can't just go, it's
a
not on the
101,
shelves.
yeah.
On the box, it says First Form on it, on the product description, and it's like so cool. And I was like, this is cool. And like 3 days later, Andy calls me and he's like, man, I wanted to call you for like a year. Like, let's talk. And I was like, what up, dude? And you know, we just kind of hashed it out and talked about everything. And I told him like what I'm telling you, like, dude, I watch your shit. And like, it's not like I just randomly like hit him and was like, fuck this guy. I was like, fuck, let's go. All right. You know, nobody gets a pass. Like
Right.
literally nobody gets a pass. You can be my biggest fucking hero. There's a coach that I did. I don't want to say who it is.
The law you run by, you know. Yeah.
There's a coach, like one of my favorite coaches that I've always looked up to has worked with some of my favorite athletes. And like, I went demon time with this guy. And he was an asshole about it. Changed nothing, blocked me, was a piece of shit, had all his athletes come after me. And it was like, man, fuck you.
It's just like
There's
telling
the
him who
knife.
you are, like genuinely.
There's the knife, a UTX 85.
That's been like the unofficial knife of our company for such a long time.
Yeah.
Microtech.
You fuckers cannot buy that,
Yeah.
by the way. You have to earn that one.
That's right.
You have to earn that one.
That's just what a full circle moment. And then when you came to Summer Smash, Sal, no, and dude, it's wild. Like once when I heard you were at Summer Smash, that was crazy. I was just like, all I knew was those videos. And then second, you're not just at Summer Smash, you're posting about, you know, their 30 for the Kids charity.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we were talking about, like no one asked you to do that. No one shoulder tapped you. No one was like, hey, if this, then that.
I didn't even know. I was so mad because I was like, dude, nobody told me. Like, why? Nobody told me about this.
They were
shit.
starting 30 for the Kids, and so you're like, well, and like you didn't like reach out to Sal to be like, hey, you know, I want to make a post about your charity. Can you tell me more about whatever? You went and did your own research.
Yeah,
you looked
yeah.
it all up yourself. You looked up all the stats. Where did the money go? Like you knew all of it from all on your own accord.
Yeah.
Didn't tell anybody you were going to post it. It was wild, dude. Like,
How did you know that?
What do you mean? Because I fucking watched.
Oh, I didn't.
I mean, well, put it this way: Sal posts it and says like, "This means more to me than you can imagine."
Yeah, yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like it, but it's like, you didn't. I think when we talked at Summer Smash, maybe you shared that with me,
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
But it was like, it was just obvious. You know what I mean? Like, no one's asking you to do these things. That's why I'm trying to tell you, like, you deserve more credit than you think.
There it is.
Because you're like, hey, I'm here. Like, what, you know, how can I be helpful? And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're always thinking about like, hey, how can I, you know, bring value? Not, you know, how can I get what I want or whatever. It's just for someone like yourself that people would like to, you know, because you were calling attention to things that people, you know, aren't comfortable with at times.
Well, shit,
It's like they want to
awesome,
bring
man.
you down, and it's just like, dude, you do the most selfless acts all the time.
Yeah. It was. I mean, that whole period though, with like, it sucked, man. It sucked. Anytime you're like shitting on somebody you like, and you like kind of feel like you have to do it, like it sucks.
Well, what's cool is you respect them, right? And then you do something like that, and you get to see how they react, right? And so
Yeah.
you get to see, hey, you know, it's what they always say, like, don't meet your heroes, right? You're talking about that bodybuilding coach.
So many people like block, fuck you, you know,
Right.
I'm gonna sue you, that type of shit. Like I've been sued before for this. It's like Andy was like, well, let's look at inside and what the fuck do we have to fix? Which is exactly like where I thought he would go.
Well,
What would a good leader do here?
I bet the people that fight back the hardest are the ones that are like, I am the most guilty.
Most,
I have
always the most
done
incriminating.
horrible shit. I
There's this
have to
girl-
like
This fucking girl I did yesterday. She's like, you have to take all your posts down because my ex-boyfriend, I have a domestic violence order against him, and there's pictures of me in the gym, and he'll figure out where I am. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You posted those pictures.
You posted that picture. I just reposted it.
She's like, no, he's gonna find me now. She has her friends DMing me. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Dude, this one was so good. It was
Yeah.
just like, come on, dude.
Wait, the OG one is the Toy Story song, and it's "You Got a Friend in Me."
That's one of my. I mean, you don't have to say any words. You're just looking at it like.
This was before your event yesterday. I was like, man, I got to cook this girl, but I don't have anything more than 3 minutes.
Oh, look at that door frame. You've taught me what to look for.
My God.
Yeah, I see
My
it right
God.
away.
She said she was editing something off of the wall and accidentally cooked the door frame.
Well, it's sad because
That
they're
level of denial, right? That level
Yeah.
of just pure ignorance. Like they really, truly.
like just
are-
take the feedback. It's cool.
they-
like if you apologize,
they
and grow
cannot
from
face
it,
themselves. It's so like it's so sad, dude. Like
Imagine
seeing
if
people
Andy
being
was
that
like-
unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like come on, dude. Like we all just like, what are you talking about? You're trying to. It's like a 5-year-old caught in a lie, right?
Yeah.
They're just like, oh,
we all know.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was 5 years old. I once got caught stealing from like a toy from a friend at an overnight, and I said I had spots on my hands that made me steal. But their
Like, that's
parents,
why.
their parents reminded me of it because I was friends with them for another 20 years. Like Jeff, how's those white spots on your hands doing? It's like
you were 5 at the time, and you probably immediately realized that this is fucking
the
stupid.
back pedal. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like right in the middle of it. I was like, I don't even have any spots on my hands.
There's no spots. What do I do?
What am I even saying?
And this is a grown woman,
this
bro.
girl, she's like, I was just trying to edit something off the wall. That I'm like, yeah, people usually hang shit on their door frame
Yeah.
on the 3 inches in between the
It's
trim
like a
and the.
blank white wall with nothing on
What
it.
were you
Yeah.
even
There was there a booger there? Like what the fuck?
She's wiping in the back.
the amount of time that people do like spend on the Photoshop thing, I've never even thought to do that, just purely from the standpoint of like, if I was going to take a picture behind and something was behind me, I'm just going to move to a different spot.
Right.
I'm not
Reasonable.
yeah.
Yeah, very.
Like, what the hell are you talking
She
about?
was telling a half truth. She was editing the photo, just not to remove anything from the wall, just
Yeah.
to make her delts bigger, which
Yeah.
is exactly what I said.
Well, it's just like take the feedback. Like if you're like, you know, you have the realization, like we were saying, like people have redemption. Like Marissa, you know,
Yeah.
our friend now, her name is Marissa Andrews. She huge Photoshopper in the past, and like we've become friends with her. And she was like, wow, like this is not a good way to present myself. This takes down my credibility. I'm not going to do this anymore. She became public about it. She's like, yeah, guys, I fucked up. I'm not going to do it anymore. And she's become much better. She's a great bodybuilder.
a healthier person.
Yeah, she's like so really well respected in like the fitness industry. And it's like there is redemption. Like this isn't like you're a horrible person. Everything's wrong with you. Like just take the feedback. We all fuck
living in
up.
authenticity,
yeah.
actually being like liking herself.
Well,
Yeah.
I could see how a good person could get caught in that, where she's like, you know, she gets the wrong advice from somebody when she's younger, and this person tells her like, everybody edits the photos.
big
Look at these
deal.
big accounts, you know, yada yada. And so she literally goes through the process of like, okay, this is what I do. I edit my photos, and then one day she gets you call her out, and she's like, holy shit, why am I doing that? It's
yeah.
because I got
My-
advice a
Take
long
back to
time ago.
reality.
You know?
Policy is always, I never judge people in the video that I do. I always judge them and how they react to it.
Yeah.
And Marissa Andrews, to her credit, as soon as I posted the video, she DM'd me and said, yeah, you're right. I did edit that and I probably should do better. That was all she said.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. Like, yeah,
I
that's
respect
cool.
you. Like, you know,
And it's funny because I give her a ton of credit and a ton of like trust, right? There was recently a photo that she posted from a win that she had, and somebody sent it to me, and there was like an original stage photo, and there was a discrepancy between the two. And I'm looking at these photos, and it's like there are certain filters that you can put on a photo that like blurs backgrounds and shit like that, and it color chooses like it's AI, and it has to determine like if I was doing a thing of you right now, it would be like, all right, well, this yellow chair behind him clearly isn't his body, so we'll blur that and have his physique, whatever. But what if the yellow chair and you were wearing a yellow shirt?
Yeah.
It would have a really hard time determining what the fine line was between shirt and you. So it may not blur the chair because AI selected, well, we can't really tell the difference. So anyway, she does this. She does an AI filter to blur the background on one of her stage photos. Her tan is very similar to the background color behind her. And it shaves a little bit of like her waist and some of her like knee off. somewhere where you really wouldn't edit.
Yeah.
And somebody sends it to me and they're like, dude, this looks edited. Like she moved her waist and like, this is so crazy. And I looked at it and like, if I didn't know how she reacted before, I would have just fucking ran the video. But I DM'd her and I was like, yo, do you know what happened here? Like this, and I was like giving you the benefit of the doubt. Like this looks like you used an AI blur filter. Like, did you? And she was like, yeah, I Lightroom, like, let me show you. And she just like went and like screen recorded and showed me the thing. And I was like, oh yeah, bro, like that looks horrible. And people are DMing me like, do what you want about it, but like maybe repost it or something. And she was like, okay, yeah, sounds good. But if it wasn't that I knew she was a good person and how she reacted before, I'd have been like, burn. And just assume that she shitlorded it.
Just lay waste.
Yeah. But that's also another thing of like, even if something looks really incriminating, like I verify first. And I'll look at other photos too. I never just have one. Because you can't do that. It's like one photo. Like, no, this fucking girl, I could
we know like at this point you recognize like the power that you're wielding when you post somebody and roast someone.
You
and
cannot
so it's
be
like,
wrong.
Yeah. You have to really make sure you're being, what's the word for it? It's just like careful.
Yeah.
Careful and consistent.
If I'm wrong once, I'm fucked.
Right.
Like absolutely fucked. It
It's
can't.
like your credibility is so high. It's like people assume you're right.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And so like
There
you gotta
was
keep it that way.
Speaking
And
of,
bro, like you work really hard to make sure you're right.
Yeah.
So it's just, you just got to be as thorough as you always are.
yeah, tying it back to First Form and only having one photo and somebody being immediately accountable. There was one First Form athlete, I can't remember her name, but it was so weird because I'm looking through the profile. She was a very popular athlete. I can't remember what her name is, but all I could find was one photo. And I DM'd her and she was like, immediately like, yeah, I did that. I was having a bad day. And I was like, wow. Damn. I was like, all right, sounds good.
All right.
Moving on.
She just deleted it. I was like, oh, cool, sounds good. Yeah. And
Do you in those moments? Do you have to say like, if you don't pull this down, just know I'm going to roast it, or are you just, it's just like I just wanted to see what you had here.
I just ask, and if they don't, it's like I don't want to make you do the right thing. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you do what you do. And it's like however you react to it, cool. I'm going to do what I'm going to. So if I
love that
because I've DM'd tons of people like, yo, is this edited? They just block me like, you're getting a video.
Yeah.
You're getting a video right away. But sometimes they're like, damn, yeah, I should probably stop doing that. And just they go and delete it or whatever, or keep doing it later and I'll get them in a week or whatever it is. There's one girl that she's like, yeah, I should stop doing that. I was like, yep, probably. And she just like deleted like 400 fucking pictures.
Jesus.
Like, damn, like, all right, that's cool. And I'd rather do it that way and then just like fucking smoke it.
And you're a
It's the
wake up
same
call for a lot of
purpose.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, I always have to decide, like, are you the influencer or the influenced?
Right.
Because sometimes it's like a really small profile and it's like, what the fuck do I gain from this? There has to be like an X factor of like, you're editing all your photos and sometimes I'll know something about you that is bad and I want to roast you for that, but I cannot for one reason or another. So we're talking about this. Like, I know you're a fucking crazy thief.
I'm going to make your
or
life
did
hard for something else.
Yeah. And it's like, so you're like, why is GOOB going so hard on this guy for editing his pictures? Like, well, I know something about him that I don't want to talk about to embarrass somebody else, but we're going to talk about this.
Like that Stevie Cohen situation where you're like, I knew about this for a minute, but I finally have what I can post.
Dude, I had all the security footage of her and her man like breaking into that place and all that shit for like months and months and months. And then all of a sudden it's like she got arrested and I was like, all right.
For like a random.
Yeah.
I felt bad though, because there was like one small newspaper in like somewhere in Miami or Broward County like posted that. And that was like all. And I was like, fuck, if I post this, like it's going to be nuclear. And it was like 4 million views or some shit.
Bro, that was a wild time on that one.
Yeah. Her boyfriend just followed me on Instagram.
That's
I don't know.
is that a
why.
power move or is that a cuck move?
Yeah, right.
Well, let me see if
One or
he
the
still.
other.
It's like he followed me and then
Maybe he does it in secret, like when she's not around, and then he'll have to unfollow you when she comes back.
He might have like unfollowed me or like maybe did it on accident. Like it was. Let me see. I think his name's like Tristan Ham or something.
Maybe he's just keeping watch, keeping an eye out.
Tristan. No, he unfollowed. He must have just accidentally clicked it. It was weird though, because it like he has like a bazillion followers.
Just
so
a
it, like,
shoulder,
shows up
just
the
a
top.
shoulder tap.
I was like, why?
Just
Are
let
you
you know.
Here
Yeah.
I am.
Well, I was
Flashing
like,
you.
damn, they broke up. He's like, fucking, I'm on that
that
guy's
shit
team
all
now.
along.
Yeah.
That's probably what it really was.
That's
They had
happened
a
though.
fight actually.
Where like I'll be beefing with somebody and then like whoever they were with at the time, they break up and they come to me and they're like, hey, do you remember when this was happening? And then it's like, here's all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll never do that, like relationship drama shit. Like I don't fucking care. Like fuck you.
Part of the reason why we wanted to have you on today, guys, is because we know that the internet, everybody's only going to know you for their certain things that they've seen, right? And so the beauty in a long format podcast is everybody gets to see the human side of both you guys. And in that, I want to say that one of the first conversations we had that I thought was so impressionable was like you said that you've always just been a humongous fan of bodybuilding, of even powerlifting, strongman, anything that involves lifting weights, right? Always been this fan for a long time. And you're like, the part of this, like being an influencer thing that sucks is like, dude, I just want to be incognito and go to the Arnold every year and just walk around and see all my heroes and get to stand in the lines. And like, you're not really there to meet people. You're there to actually enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's been tough. And so what's life been like lately in the last year? Because it really when has it become the most, is it right now where it's just been the most tough to just be a guy?
It's like, it's like you're just yourself, right? It's like we got off the plane and like we're walking out of the jetway and some dude's like, yo, Goob. I was like, dude, it's like, did Jeff put him here? Like, what the fuck is this from?
Like New York to
Kansas City. Like, why? There's a couple on the plane that knew us and like followed both of them. And they're like, the girl's asking Katie, like,
she's like, I'm on the plane right now. Can we talk after? And I was like, yes. That's so cute.
But it's like, dude, like 6 months ago, that wasn't it's like so weird. Like,
It's very recent.
Yeah.
So John and I have been together 400 followers or something. So I've like watched this progress like over time and how like, I guess just like the general population treats you, but like people in general and like just coming up to you on the plane, in the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's like, that's different and weird for
it's
sure.
like, I was in the elevator of our building the other day and this dude's like talking to me while we're like going down. And in my mind, I'm like trying to figure out how I know this man. And I'm like, because like in there's a dog park that we have. And like, I don't know anybody's fucking name, but I know all the dogs. And I barely know what the people look like. I know what the dogs look like though. And if they're with the dog, I'm like, okay, I know this dog. Doesn't have a dog with him. And like, we're talking like in this elevator ride down and we're walking out together and he's still like talking my ear off. And I'm like, dude, what's your dog's name, by the way? And he's like, I don't have a dog. And I was like, how do we know each other? And he's like, you don't know me. And I was like, how do you know me? He's like, oh, I follow you on Instagram. Dude, and he lives in my building. I was like, this is so fucking crazy.
Wow.
Dude, so crazy.
Wild.
It's been happening like way more often lately. It's kind of...
It would be also crazy if you lived in an apartment and you're just like, oh, this guy's shitting on my favorite influencer. What an asshole. You walk out and you get on the elevator. You're like, oh my God, damn it.
No. You walk out of the elevator and it's closing and John's in the elevator and he's like, oh, let me hold it for you. You wanted to hate him and he's like the nicest guy.
Yeah, he's like, damn, I actually really like him. He's actually a really good guy.
I mean, the downside of it is like, I can't do any public freakouts. Like...
Oof.
At all.
I don't know. I mean, when they don't get you that Diet Coke fast enough.
Yeah. I mean, and they used to be a little frequent.
But like everybody's a human. Everybody's a human that has like a moment, right? And it's like, I can't, like I posted a video the other day, this like crazy dude in Times Square throws a coffee at me. And it's like, I'm in Times Square. There's hundreds of people around. There's fucking video cameras everywhere. Everybody's filming. If I start whooping this old dude's ass, like,
Right.
Somebody's gonna see it. It will be on TikTok.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck, I just have to...
That does kind of, is a little bit of stress. It's like there's a group of people out there that are like praying for your downfall.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, man, he has to have like private security. And I was like, man, Kate, pretty strong. I mean,
That's right here. What are you talking about? No, we also like, we can't argue in public.
Yeah.
Like there's no argue. You know what I mean?
We
It's
have like an agreement. It's like, we will argue behind closed doors.
yeah, like if you're mad at me, like close it off and we'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
Type thing,
It's like, you can't be arguing in a fucking restaurant. Like you see people just like being normal. But you can't do that shit because somebody's going to film it. I don't know. It's like,
yeah, you guys can't beat each other up.
Yeah.
We don't physically assault each
Domestic
other in public
violence
anymore.
about to happen.
Obviously, you can't do it like what you guys like.
Yeah, we're not
It's-
drop kicking.
it's so, I don't know. It's like, it's weird though. Cause I'm just me. Like, what's that? People like me. It's always, cause I don't know what to do. Like,
I'm just the most human, not trying to.
yeah. I'm
you
like,
know.
how you doing, bro? I don't know.
I'm here for the same shit you are. You know what I mean? Yesterday, at our event, we had, for our listeners, we had our customer appreciation barbecue yesterday, and these two were great. They were standing around helping every single person that would want to talk to them. You guys talked to them for as long as they'd like to talk. Was there anything that surprised you about Kansas City folks? Anything that comes to mind for you guys that were like,
everybody's so normal, bro.
I
It's
love
like,
Kansas
yeah.
City. I like it here.
Yeah, everybody's just so nice. Like, I don't know, anybody we met was just super cool, like super helpful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know,
Respectful. That's
Yeah.
what I care
100%.
about.
just normal
100%.
fucking people. Like,
Yeah.
just normal, down to earth,
Nice.
people.
Those,
Just nice.
those Midwest manners, man.
It's real.
Yeah, people
that-
holding
truly.
doors for you and stuff. Like, it just
Yeah.
You know,
Trust-
when you were
he-
at Summer Smash, was it
Dude,
very
when-
similar?
When they
Super.
hold the door,
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
"Oh."
But it's like,
That's what we're known for.
yeah,
Oh, let me get that for you.
The OPE, yeah.
Summer Smash. It's like this, same kind of people where it's like, I'm looking at the venue for Summer Smash and I'm thinking like, there's gonna be no trash when we leave here.
Exactly
Yeah.
right.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like we left the.
It's wild, dude.
He has like a really nice camera, and I was like using it, whatever. We left it on a random table, and he's like, "Oh, where's the camera?" And I was like, "Don't worry, no one here's touching it." They'll say like, "We found this camera," and you know, like we live in New York. It's like literally quite the opposite. It's like I would never leave my phone on a
8
counter.
seconds later, it's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be gone.
No,
And
that shit is
it's-
on
I was like,
eBay.
Not those people.
Yeah.
Like we're good here, you know. And that was the vibe.
That's I really, I love hearing that. Of course, we genuinely try for that kind of a culture, but it is so special that, people that, just shop with us will pick up the trash off the ground. Like, I remember at Summer Smash, random people were like going to the workers like, hey, like this porta potty needs some attendance, like they're all in it because
Everybody
we're all
cares
trying to
about
make
the
things
thing being good. Yeah.
Everybody wants it to be better, right?
Yeah.
So it's super exciting. You know what, Kyle, I didn't tell you the story. So we went to Woodyard Barbecue. Shout out Woodyard Barbecue. We loved it. It was great. Afterwards, we split off and did the podcast with Seth yesterday.
Oh shit.
And they got in the Uber. And they called an Uber.
Do you want me to tell this?
Please do.
Yeah, so we barbecued together and Jeff is like, we're gonna drop you off and then I'm gonna go to and I know he's like late for this fucking podcast. And I was like, dude, leave, we'll call an Uber seriously. And it takes like a minute of convincing and he finally is like, okay. Call the Uber, guy picks us up. And another thing about Kansas City people is like all the Ubers talk to you. In New York,
You're
they're
like, what the hell?
Yeah, they're like, how's your day? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No,
What
and
did you
it's like-
say to me? Jesus.
Yeah, if you talk to someone in a taxi in New York, they will not respond.
Yeah.
They're like, is this a crazy person in my car right now?
Yeah,
Like, why
they
would
have
talk to
headphones
me?
in. They're talking to their wife.
Yeah.
While like they were listening to music or just fucking ignoring you. And this dude's like, how are you guys doing? And I'm like, over it. And Catherine's always
I'm
like
a
my
filter.
filter.
Like I can talk for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, we're having a great day.
We're
blah,
doing
blah,
great.
blah. And I didn't really know. I was like, yeah, we went to an event this morning. It was really cool, whatever. And he's like, I had a great day. I went to my supplement store annual barbecue and it was awesome.
We're
And
in the
we were
back
like-
seat. We look at each other like,
I was like,
my
oh,
God.
That's awesome.
that's where I was.
That's
It
legit.
gets cooler. It gets
Yeah,
cooler.
right.
No, and he's like, yeah, the guys in the store. He's like, Jeff and Kyle. He's like talking about you guys. He's like, were they there? And I was like, yeah, we just had lunch with Jeff. And he's like, oh, like that's cool. Like you guys were in town for the same thing too. I was like, yeah, we were in town for it. It was great.
Yeah.
That's legit.
What was his transformation story, though? He had a really awesome transformation
He's like, yeah, man, I dropped 120 pounds. He's like, I always buy my protein
Legit.
from there. He's like, I love First Form's products. Like he's just, I was like, did Jeff pay this fucking guy?
It was literally like a bit. He was like all about it. He's like, I go in, I get my recommendations, they guide me in the right direction. Like literally everything that you were saying, it was like a script.
Yeah.
That's
It was
awesome.
like
It was
hire this
so
guy for an advertisement.
funny because I was just like you guys are in person, brick and mortar, and everything you would want a
Archaic.
customer to say about that as to why it's better than buying shit online. He was like, it's so nice. I go in there and they tell me what's good and they help me pick it out and they always have blah blah blah. And I was like, wow. Like,
You're saying, Andy was telling you how it's like our brands are different, and it's like that's what I think. It's like there is just a certain segment of people that truly, genuinely appreciate the in-person experience and having that community and having people to connect with like that.
Yeah.
Because I've said this on the podcast before, and I think it needs to be said again. There's people that are getting into that journey, right? They're starting the process of bettering themselves, and they're not in a group right now that's normal. And so like when they walk into our store, they're like so relieved because they get to share their exciting news. They got a new PR. They're down 10 pounds.
you told me
right?
something I didn't know. Everybody in your store to work there, they have to be what?
Certified in some fashion. Right now, what's the one we're using right now?
NASM?
NASM, but it's not an FNS anymore.
Yeah, it's
a,
their certified nutrition specialist.
okay.
Wow, I mean that's cool. Like that's like if I'm on Amazon, my fucking shopping cart, I'm just poking around. Like,
Well,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
even any other, GNC that you walk into, it's some random guy that probably doesn't know anything about supplements.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's like
It's
the
just hard.
community aspect
Well,
of it.
GNC. What's that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You guys know what that is?
The three
Never heard of it.
Another
Never
3-letter
heard.
supplement. We just call it a 3-letter supplement store, and everybody knows what we're talking about. But we all started there. I mean, that was my first store I went to, and honestly, there was probably some really great people. It's just when you have 6,000 locations, it's hard to stay quality when that's not the mission at the top. But yeah, and I do appreciate those sentiments. We're just
It was wild, like the way he talked about just a store. He said, "Oh, I can't remember which one he said, but like my local store is and he just like said the name. It was like he was talking about it how I talk about the gym that I go to,
Yeah.
which is fucking cool. Because it's like, yo, I don't talk about my fucking I don't like what grocery store do we go? I don't even know what the
I
fuck
don't
it's
even know what
called.
grocery store I go to.
Food Emporium or some shit.
different one
I
every
don't know.
time.
Yeah, so whatever fucking is the cheapest. But he didn't talk about it like that. He was like, the one that I go to, like they had a barbecue today. It was great. Like he spoke about it in such high regard. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because we're in the car, like, did fucking Jeff?
It
pay
was like a
this guy?
script. It was literally a script. I was like,
I was like looking at the app, like, okay, this is really Uber. Like, this really is my Uber that I was supposed to get into today.
Yeah, that's awesome.
that's just awesome. I
How
appreciate-
random.
of the most,
Or was it? Or
and
was it?
Yeah, we don't even like, dude. We need to look up your,
Serendipitous,
we need to look up your
you might
Uber
say.
driver's name, or whatever, find him, so we can say like, "Hey, dude, that was awesome."
yeah.
And and what's funny is
he's
you guys
probably
were there
gonna
and
watch this.
He didn't know.
He had no
Very
idea.
He might.
He watches your stuff. He's
Yeah.
probably watching this right
No,
now.
yeah. He was like, he was talking about the podcast.
Yeah.
And John's like, I'm going to be on there.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's like, oh, like,
Yeah, he's like, I
okay.
watched the Protein Bros podcast, and I was like, oh, I'm doing it tomorrow. I'm supposed to. He's like, oh, that's cool.
I love it.
He was like, I think Seth's on it today. I was like, yeah, Seth Ferrosi's on it today. Yeah,
Bro,
that's right.
and I know that you and Seth, you guys go way back. Can we find that photo? You got that handy?
Whoa, no, you didn't find the OG one. By
You got the OG?
I'm gonna find the OG.
Yeah, airdrop it to Luke here. But
Find this.
man, I had never met Seth. What an awesome guy.
Seth's
We
an
really enjoyed talking to him, man.
For people that weren't able to attend the event, this motherfucker stood in the sun for like 6 hours.
Yeah, he
turned
was
nobody away.
sunburnt.
He was
For
sunburnt.
sure.
Yeah.
His shoulders
I was
were
like, man, I
fried,
feel
bro.
bad that you're so sunburnt like
I mean,
that,
he was
brother.
talking.
But that's the second
too.
time he met him, he said. That's
And
the
then he
second
came
time.
here.
Look how jacked you are, though, dude. I thought you were saying
That's
that
John's
you were.
bodybuilding era.
Yeah.
John, what's the top word say over the rainbow?
That's
there?
a Reading Rainbow shirt, LeVar Burton.
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
I'll sing the song right here, right now. Butterfly in the sky.
I don't know why I'm wearing a Reading Rainbow shirt, but
You
I
still
am.
have
Did
that
you watch
shirt.
the Netflix documentary?
No, it's a Netflix documentary.
Reading Rainbow.
And
Watch
what's
it,
the
dog. Watch it.
ruin it
It's
for me?
sick. Tells the story of like how they hired LeVar. LeVar was an actor. He was like not the most known. But
Do you know what
also
he was
wasn't
in?
Unknown. I don't remember. It was a show, right?
Star Trek.
Oh, was it Star Trek? At
He's
the time,
Geordie LaForge, the guy with
Yeah,
the thing
the thing
across his.
across
Yeah,
his-
yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
But you don't recognize him
the
'cause-
Cyclops guy.
Exactly.
more or less,
Yeah.
But they mentioned that, and then they were like PBS or whatever the public broadcasting company who was coming up with this book because like kids were not reading enough, and they had to like figure out a way to make reading cool. Dude,
airdrop
that.
that's a good one.
Drop that, yeah.
That's a good one to show. Yeah.
Yo, Seth's wearing fucking suspenders.
Such a fan.
Wait, is your airdrop on, sir?
Also, I got to ask while you're doing this, what's the origin story for? Because in all of these photos, young Goob is smiling, but now old Goob has the peculiar, really face in a lot of
He's
photos.
like kind of pissed.
I don't
Yeah.
know, bro. My face just does that. I suppose. I don't really know.
Where'd this come
honestly.
from? We did our video
the way,
where we were telling our customers, hey, come, you're gonna get to meet John. And when we posted the photo, Luke picks the one over. I feel like you're wearing like a Grimace purple shirt.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
That is
Probably,
an official
honestly,
McDonald's t-shirt.
It's probably the
by way.
most professional
yeah, is
photo
it
you
really?
have.
GoldenArgesUnlimited.com. They have McDonald's
They have great
merch.
shit.
I buy a lot of shit from there. Seriously.
hey,
I got my Grimace Crocs
nostalgic.
on there.
Yeah.
The Grimace Crocs.
Yeah,
Those are from also McDonald's.
We have an area. There it is.
dude.
So that's Seth. He's at the fucking Blackstone Primeval Labs booth, and he had just came out with AAR. It's not even called Action Sledge. I don't think exists.
No, just All American Roughneck.
AAR is just a fucking t-shirt because Jason Hutt was his boy and told him to like, dude, you're coming back into the body world, like do t-shirts, be a personality. He fucking runs with it. He's working for whoever at the Primeval Labs booth, and I walk up to him. He has no fucking line. Nobody's there to see him. He's working for somebody else. And I was like, Seth, do you have t-shirts? And he just fucking like goes under the table and like pulls out this cardboard box with his t-shirts in it. And I was like, $20? He's like, yeah, here you go. And we have a little conversation about like, what size do you think I should wear? And he's like, small. And I buy a t-shirt and I was like, dude, let's get a picture. By the way, look at zoom in. between and go
see the
down.
box.
Go down. There it is. He's fucking. It says AAR Apparel Seth Feroci.
Nice.
It's a fucking cardboard box. That was his inventory for the fucking.
That's
thing.
actually the first AAR booth right there.
Yeah. And then
Unofficial.
I come back the next fucking year. This is maybe 2014 or 15, and whatever the next year was, 15 or 16. And he has a fucking line out to like 2 hours.
He probably started dropping those rants that he started doing on
Yeah.
Bro,
YouTube.
he was just crushing yesterday with some of the thing, his rants he was going on our podcast yesterday. But he mentioned how after the first form when we brought that up to him, I forgot we talked to Seth for so long. There was a whole like hour after the podcast and a whole hour before, so I can't remember what made it on the recording. But when we brought up the first form one with you, as far as you calling out. He's like, yeah, after that one, I definitely went to my fucking team and was like, hey, guys, we got to comb through our stuff now.
That's why I fucking did it too.
Yeah.
Like because everybody watches what the big dog does.
We
And they're
don't. So here's what's crazy. We are so.
by the way, I'm not the big dog in that. That's a first form, not me.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like
Everyone watches the big dog.
Yeah, they watch what? Yeah, what is the
we
guy that's in charge?
wonder what brands get the most respect outside of our community because obviously, like we're such in an echo chamber here, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we support so much stuff that of course people will respect and like First Form and Supplement Superstores here. But like if you're in New York City or whatever, it's like is First Form considered a big dog?
Yeah, people know it. People recognize the brand. We fucking when we went to Summer Smash, we're on the plane, and I was like, babe, this is kind of weird. Like everybody on this plane is wearing First Form gear.
Yeah, it was like super noticeable.
We had a fucking plane full of people from New York.
All going to Summer Smash.
I was
Yes.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I see it all the time. People wearing the OG shirt with the square logo, like all the time.
Natural Body, to their credit, is the most respected retailer if it's not named Supplement Superstores to the First Form account team.
Yeah.
Like that's their
They love them.
people.
Actually, the
Steve
dude
Calabrese.
Steve was like not because Steve didn't like. He's not an internet guy. He's just like a fucking.
He just
I don't know if he has
He
a
is
phone.
an intense ass guy though.
Steve is just like not on the internet.
Yeah.
And he heard that I might be going to the thing and didn't know that like me and First Form are cool.
On the block party?
Yeah. And he like heard that I was coming and I wanted to like I had a pre-workout at the time and like wanted to bring it. And he's like, no.
Oh, I remember this.
He's like, no, you can't. Because I was going with Ross Flanagan with Flavor Gang. And he's like, no, you can't. And I was like, fuck. And I ended up showing up anyway because Ross was there and he asked me to come and like be at his booth for, because I'm his boy. And I'm there and like Steve sees me and Sal talking and like we're bullshitting. And he comes up and he's like,
Everything okay?
you guys cool? Like, yeah. He's like, oh, all right. And it was like, he was like, if you're not on their team, fuck you. Which I respect. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you're a loyal guy.
he is kind of old school.
He's very loyal.
But
and for that, Sal and First Form are very loyal to him.
Yeah, I mean, I follow. He's the only person that I follow on Facebook. I don't even know if he's on Instagram, but he's like Facebooking because
For the
he's
family.
Steve.
What's the name of the
Supplement Shop Owners Group. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
There's a
if
supplement.
you want to be
oh boy,
if you want to know like why people are focused on the wrong thing as far as
There's a group called Supplement Shop Owners that if you own a supplement store, you're in this.
they'll just try and like dump product that's about to like
Hey guys, I got
stuff.
166 units about 3 months out from date. If you guys, I'll sell them all
wants
to you
we
for
don't
$6
sell
apiece.
much of this anymore. Anybody want to buy it from us?
It's a great place for people to feel important about themselves.
Yeah.
This is so funny. Me and Kyle have been doing this such a long time that we like have this like lore about protein powders that they don't longer make anymore. And you're like, man, if that was back, I would just buy 10 jugs of it, because it was so good. We used to have this before Formula One, before First Form ever had a protein. We sold something called Isolate Blast 800, okay, by Inpac, N-PAC. Sold like 1,000 jugs a week.
If you see the label of this, you'll never believe
I
that we
hope you
sold
do.
a lot of it.
Really?
This is what inspired Andy to create First Form because this guy couldn't keep his shit in stock. But Isolate Blast 800, Wild Berry Lemonade. All protein was chocolate and vanilla at the time.
wild berry lemonade.
First Isolate dude, it was awesome.
It tasted like actual lemonade. It was very good.
They killed it. And yeah, of course you can't find it. Inpac is N-PAC. N-PAC. Inpac. Not impact.
Wait, is it a clear green bottle?
No.
Or that's
You're thinking
Intech.
Intech.
Yeah.
that was the shit.
Intech has
There's some amino spiking.
It was delicious.
Intech's BCAs, the Hawaiian
100 grams of sugar in them. They were so
Bro.
good.
Yeah,
so
it was
good.
delicious.
So good.
They had that tropical
the most
punch
tasty.
one.
Yeah.
So
What's
good.
the puddin' that I like? Core Nutrition?
Core Nutrition Puddin.
Oh, they have a
Puddin.
It's like puddin'.
Oh, right.
Oh my God, it's my favorite thing
Like
ever.
you're an aunt talking to a niece.
Puddin'.
Hey, Puddin.
Hey, puddin'.
Do you remember Hemo Rage
Yes.
from back in the day?
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
tell Nutrex.
Yes. So
Nutrex black. Hemo Rage black, dude.
I bought like 100 jugs of the creamsicle one that were, speaking of expired like stuff, it was on some like wholesale website and they were going for like $2 and a quarter each.
my
Shipping was the only thing that
God.
got you.
Yeah, but it was like there was a bunch of DMAA in that shit. It tasted like ass and it was
Hemo
expired.
Rage was amazing.
But I was like, fuck,
the
I'm gonna
good
order
shit.
all
it was
It had-
back in the day when pre-workouts were 20 grams a scoop.
It
Yeah.
had Zach
You know what I'm talking
Kahn. You remember that guy? Wasn't that the guy that was
Zach King Kong.
yeah, Zach King Kong was
Yeah.
like their main athlete. And
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, I don't even know if he competed, but he just looked like the biggest
He was
monster.
that universal
Yeah.
guy on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
Hemo Rage.
But that's the new shit.
That's the look at the OG.
Go
I don't
back
have
to
the good
the
stuff.
Gray label.
It was a huge fucking tub. It was giant.
It was the
like
gray
this
label,
big.
not the black, right? Did you get the?
this is
It was
the
an
age
orange
where,
tub.
where Zach Kahn was.
Everybody.
That's Hemo Rage Black, so that was after. Just type in original Hemo Rage. Or like type in Hemo Rage 2012.
Nutrex Research Hemo Rage. You know. Oh, there it is, right there. Second to the right, second row. Second to the right, second row.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, there we go. That's the original
That's
tub.
a, that's
the
a
big
full
tub.
size. That's a full size.
That's the black, but there was
Jacked made every pre-workout become, in quotes, concentrated, which was just like leave out all the bullshit.
black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you put Hemo Rage creamsicle? I can't remember if it was called creamsicle. Type in like orange cream maybe.
Maybe just orange.
Regardless, it was good.
It was so I
We'll find
you
it.
have to see this stupid tub. It was gigantic. We may have to give up.
Hopefully
on
they give
this.
it some. Like, yeah, hopefully there's something for scale. But
Oh, it was
apparently,
massive.
Nutrex Research, not a whole lot of things besides hot chicks around giant bottles. Remember that? That was them.
Yeah.
They just have like their bottle, and girls would be like
Around.
worshiping it, like, you know what I mean, like it was a king of some sort. And it
Or
was
like
just a bottle of
muscle
pills.
meds where they were like, well, we'll hitch our truck to Kai Green
Yes.
and everything will be okay.
Ironically, I made a crazy Muscle Meds Kai Green reference on the Seth Feroci podcast yesterday.
Was
Yeah.
this not the guy that was like
That's
the
it.
Hemo Rage guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember being like, God dang.
He is the
He
reason
looked
they
just
sold.
like the dudes that were just standing. Remember, Universal's
Frank
ads for
McGrath.
years were just a cartoon gym that looked like Gotham.
Yeah.
And like the bodybuilders on the roof standing over the city. And you're like, oh man.
Brian Moss.
I want to buy these vitamins.
By now.
Yeah.
Frank
Animal
McGrath
products.
was like one of the first guys that I remember. Like, I saw a picture of his legs, and he was wearing like cut off jeans, and I was like, people can look like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's possible.
Roadmap.
Cut off
Holy
jeans?
shit! I was like, and I can wear the.
And I'm allowed to wear jorts?
yeah, I can wear
convinced.
shorts like
Do you
that.
guys know who Brian Moss is, the photographer? So all the photos that we're thinking about right now were shot by Brian Moss.
He's awesome.
He's a legend.
I only
He's
know
a,
the Alex Ardentes of the world.
there's a Brian Moss photo. Yeah.
he
That's
has like
the-
all the original.
It wasn't dream
Incredible.
shorts. That's the exact one I'm talking
And
about.
you're telling me
Yeah.
that legs are possible like that?
So Brian Moss is he's like a hermit, bro. He's the coolest dude ever. He comes out of hiding like once a year to come to the New York Pro, and he came up to he shot Jason Huh.
Yeah.
There's a Jason Huh photo. All the Frank McGrath photos that we've seen that like we grew up watching, he
Evan
shot all of
Centopani.
them. Yeah, Evan Centopani, everything he shot. Just one of the most.
The first time
talented
you met him,
photographers.
you should have been like, "Hey, man, I really appreciate your work. Hope you don't edit any of those photos."
No,
He's
he's
such a nice guy.
just the sweetest guy. The first time I met him, he was giving Will Whitman, who's another fitness photographer, a gift of a print that he made. I can't remember what the print was, but it was one of like his
Those are the
favorite
OG.
pictures.
Yeah.
Look at Antoine. Go back up.
Wow. Yo,
I mean,
we
that
got
outfit's pretty dope. for
we got to
Halloween.
keep scrolling. Wow.
Hey, quick new segment that we're going to be doing that I just made up from now until Halloween. Give me your best Halloween costume, Hall of Fame costume you've done in your life. What
Okay.
comes to mind for your best costume?
One year, me and my two friends were going as the Blue Man Group,
Classic.
and the one kid got poison ivy on his face the day before, and so we were just the Blue Man duo, and it kind of sucked.
You're like, who are these two guys?
But the bald cap worked and everything. Full blue paint.
Yeah, but like nobody. They were like, "Aren't there supposed to be 3 of you?" We're like, "Fuck off!"
Yeah,
It is kind of like you have to do 1 or you can do 3. Like if you don't have any buddies, you can do 1 and it's still kind of cool. But
Yeah.
then you got 2, you're like,
When neither of us
What
wanted
are
to
they supposed
change,
to do?
I was like, "I'm not fucking
Do
changing."
you know what year? Because Luke's on the prowl right now.
You're never gonna find photos of this, Luke.
I've never even seen photos of that.
Katie, what's your best Halloween costume?
I'm I was an inflatable M&M one year, like
That's pretty good.
That is good.
like 3 feet around diameter.
What color were you? The
the
green,
green.
one?
I was green.
Yeah,
I
you
was
got to be the green.
That was pretty fun.
Did you wear heels and everything too? Like the
No,
green girl?
I was like, it was.
Have
not
we ever
to be
Halloween
cute.
together?
What?
Have we ever Halloween? What did I go as?
Well, last
We've
year
done
you didn't
SpongeBob
go to
and-
that. You didn't go to that party because you forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, we've done SpongeBob and Patrick like for a few years.
John, I'm sorry.
If you're listening, I'm sorry. I forgot your Halloween party.
I went as Bruce Willis from Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought the jacket that he has, and I have the little kangaroo thing. You know, have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Of course, yeah.
So the little kangaroo
watch
thing
holder.
for his watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
bought
yeah,
that off of eBay for like $30.
Perfect.
And I was like, all right, I'm Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Throw on a pair of jeans and we're good.
That's awesome.
That worked out.
That was his girl. I don't know her name. What's her name?
Uma Thurman.
No, Violet.
Not
name
that
is-
one.
Yeah.
Violet.
Violet. Yeah.
Dude, I was Kenny Powers one year from Eastbound and Down, and I just happened to look just like Danny McBride.
yeah.
And so it was like too believable.
That crushes.
Everybody was just like, "Oh, dude, Danny McBride's here." It was, man. Yeah, Kyle, what's your best Halloween costume, dude? You haven't dressed it. You were probably like a fucking T-shirt Halloween.
I remember
costume the
when
last
I
5
was
years.
when I was like
A
260.
Game Boy T-shirt, like just a
When I was the
A
biggest,
jersey.
the
Yeah.
biggest I've ever been, I was like 260 in like 2013. I went to Walmart and I bought a little kid's. It was a little kid's Spider-Man outfit, and I put that on, and I was literally like ripping through. There's a picture of me
was
on
like
the
Hulk
internet.
style,
I was
but
like
only
Hulk
with
style,
Spider-Man?
like completely ripping out of this little kid's
Oh, dude,
outfit.
This is a few years ago. What's up, dude?
Wow.
Happy Gilmore caretaker.
Wow.
Amazing.
You will go
good.
to sleep, or I will put you to sleep.
You could also be Ollie G in that one, to be honest with you.
Oh man, Ali G's a classic. How about that, dude? That's me.
That's
at
actually
20 years old.
that's the closest to Jeff's
ShamWow's
actual
pretty good.
personality.
That's true. Being a guy that hits prostitutes.
Do you remember? Yeah, he got arrested, right? Yeah. He was like all coked out and beat a prostitute.
Oh, yeah, can't hit a prostitute every
Just
now and
like that.
I mean, like after that, he had to come out with the quick chop just to try to pay for those legal bills. Remember the quick chop?
Yeah,
He's like, you're gonna love my nuts.
Yeah. You're gonna love my nuts.
Who could have imagined a guy like that would love cocaine?
You're gonna love my nuts.
Yeah.
And he starts chopping them.
You're gonna
Put
love
them on
them.
your ice cream dishes. You'll love it.
I went as Squints once,
Squints Palidorus.
like from Wendy and Squints.
We're fans of the Sandlot
Yeah.
We
here.
watch the Sandlot every day for a calendar year.
When we opened our
opened
store,
our
that was like our
store.
background noise in the store. We just like knew it word for word. Michael Squints Palidorus.
I know his middle name.
I still have watched that with my kids like 3 or 4 times.
It's still the best
Still
kids
so
movie
good.
of all
That
time.
was
Soundtrack
that was
of our
actually
lives.
the day I decided I was like I don't care about drinking. I'm just like gonna never do it. It was like 2015, and I went as Jacked Squints, and like nobody knew what my fucking costume was because I went to this law school party and everybody was.
You didn't have a Wendy Peppercorn with you? No red swimsuit girl next to you?
I can't.
There was no one before me.
I've
Sorry,
never
that's right, I
ever
forgot.
had. There were
No other
no
woman has
women in
ever
my life
existed.
ever before Catherine.
That's
So
right.
I was just
He's
there
never met
by
a woman
myself.
in his life.
Yeah, I've never even seen a girl. So there was no Wendy Peppercorn with me at all. I was just there by myself, and everybody was so fucked up. They're like, "What's your costume?" I was like, "A very good Squints."
And they're all like, don't you just wear those glasses every day?
You're like, are you dressed like yourself?
and I got home and I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore."
It's like they didn't recognize my costume. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Should've
you
been-
guys.
Should have been
Never-
Benny the Jet Rodriguez. Would have totally pulled more. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, there were no women ever.
Ever.
Forgot there was no
Never-
girls at the
Ever.
party. Went to an all boys school.
Never met a woman in my life.
Yeah. We've been SpongeBob and Patrick like 3 times.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
a SpongeBob
legendary.
girl, though. I like forced it upon him.
We
And
tried
our
to-
dogs have
Why don't you be the
costumes,
squirrel?
too.
Why don't you
Because-
be the, what's her name? Sandy?
Sandy.
My bad, dog.
Cheeks. Come on.
Yeah,
Milo's
I
a
missed.
Krabby
We,
Patty.
I'm outta here.
Sandy
Kyle,
cheeks.
hey, Kyle and I missed
Done.
the. I shouldn't speak for you, but I feel like we're the same on this. But like, you know, kids shows like you age out at like a certain
Yeah,
age,
yeah.
and you're just out. You
Yeah.
don't go back for a long time.
Wait, you're saying you don't watch them?
So we didn't watch SpongeBob because we just missed it. I was like in 6th grade
Mm.
or something when it came out, and I believe you would have been like in 3rd grade, which is
Yeah.
like a total. I need to be watching that show.
Yeah, it was
kinda
very
time.
formative for me. It was,
Mine was Ren and Stimpy.
Dude,
That's like the
have you watched it?
generation of
Doug.
mine.
Have you watched it recently?
it.
No.
So
it's
do
back?
this when you get home. Do this when you get home. Just like put on Ren and Stimpy and watch it. The amount of shit they got away with that was on a kids program is insane.
Really? I could see that.
It's like they're like butt fucking each other and there's like just crazy stuff.
Really?
Cartoon
And you're
Network.
like, damn, I was a kid watching Ren and fucking Stimpy. Like there's just so much.
Luke, you can't Google that.
anything on Cartoon Network, though.
Ren and Stimpy butt fucking. No, there's so many references where you're like, holy shit. Like, damn.
Dude, you guys, there's that new Nickelodeon documentary that just came out. I believe it's on HBO
I haven't
Max.
seen it.
Bro, it will ruin your childhood.
Do you know
bet.
about the Invader Zim guy?
No. Invader
Google
what?
Invader Zim, the guy who wrote Invader Zim. I don't want to say.
I don't know what Invader Zim is.
Oh.
It was a cartoon. It was
a
like
Cartoon
Courage the
Network
Cowardly
cartoon.
Dog.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah,
I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about now.
Yeah,
okay.
same thing. It was just like an alien.
Type in like Invader Zim controversy or something.
There it is. Bottom line.
Oh. An episode of the
Oh,
series may have
no.
inspired a real life murder.
Yeah.
There's a documentary coming out for that.
Yeah, it's like this weird Invader Zim lore. Kind of crazy.
That's so weird.
Click that. Untold story why Invader Zim got
If
canceled.
it's on Reddit, you know it's true.
Always. Oh, it's like a YouTube video.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a deep dive.
Yeah, we don't need to watch that right now.
The bottom line is it really inspired a real life murder.
Well, I saw a guy at your event yesterday with an Invader Zim tattoo, and it was so weird because I was like, I forgot that it was even a thing.
Yeah.
And I just saw it and I was like, damn,
That's
like,
what
I've
sparked
seen
it.
every episode. It's a fucking waste of my time.
The dudes on Nickelodeon, if you watch it, it was just talking about like the show writer was like super popular or whatever. He
Dan
was
Schneider.
Dan Schneider. He did Kat and whatever her name is, with Ariana
Ariana
Grande.
Grande.
And
Drake and Josh.
the guy clearly had a foot fetish. And so he was like writing all this stuff into the shows where like Ariana Grande is like eating her own foot, sucking on her own toes and shit. And it's
It's
just
supposed
so
to be like a
sad.
14-year-old in high school.
Right.
It's like super gross and weird.
It's super weird. Yeah. There's tons of it. Like she had to squeeze a potato.
I've seen that
Yeah.
one.
That was just really hard to watch.
Yeah. It's
Because
really tough.
It's just sad. I mean,
a sad
it's
story.
truly, probably we'll just stop talking about it. It's so bad.
yeah.
But like that, and it's just like in the public, like your kids are watching it. It's just wild.
Yeah,
So,
they do it like under the cover of like, oh, it's just a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're- She's like,
funny
I'm
for
trying to
kids."
squeeze this juice out of the potato. There's no juice in a potato.
Yeah.
But she's just double fisting a potato as hard as she possibly can.
Dude, being a parent now, it's very hard for me to hear stuff like that because I would be like, if my kid is going to do this, kind of like my kid plays soccer or does any other activity, I'm going to be there when they're doing it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
like
going to
you're
let.
I'm going to monitor this.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she gets to be on TV. Whatever you need, buddy.
Yeah.
Drake
It's not
and,
just like a.
So Drake and Josh, isn't it Drake the one that actually just
Yeah.
got abused for years?
Yeah.
Years and years.
And it was, I mean, he went through it for years and he talks about it. And it was first time ever coming out about it. It was really hard, but it's really like insightful. And it's just wild to hear like what they had to go through. And it's like his dad had like the greatest heart of all time and totally read it the whole way.
When I see that shit, I'm
And it was a
like,
divorce, like legal battle
Yeah.
thing where he lost. And the dad was just like, I knew it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And when it happened, it was just like the saddest thing.
like to
Because the
your
dad
point,
knew.
when I see this shit, I'm like,
He's like, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
yeah, like what kind
Yeah.
of parents
you
are
kinda
these?
get
He's
the
like,
vibe
you're
from
not
shit.
allowed to be alone with that guy ever.
Intuition is so strong. Like just
Yeah.
follow your gut and it's usually always right.
Yeah, we dude, we had when we were trying to find a spot for our first daughter to go to daycare, one of our guys that or one of the places we were taking her at the beginning had a dude there that was he just rubbed me the wrong way. And I said, no, we're not doing this. And I told Kim, I was like, here's the thing is like, maybe he's a great dude, and he doesn't lose anything out of his life, if he just never meets Clara, but maybe he's not, maybe he's a turd. And then, it completely changes our lives. So I was like, it's not even worth like,
Why roll those dice?
I was like, if I have a bad feeling, I'm just not going to,
like-
allow it to.
My thoughts on that, like when you get a feeling, and like I always trust that shit. I feel like they say like you only use we only are conscious of like 10% of our brain. Like that shit's doing something, and your brain, like when somebody's lying to you, like anytime if anybody here, I know we're all great people. If you've ever been a dirtbag in a relationship and you're lying to somebody and they like figure it out, but they talk it and you're like, oh no, I didn't do that, and they're like, okay, whatever. But they figured it out right away because like your brain's
They always
processing
know.
this shit.
Yeah.
And your brain, you don't even know what it was because you weren't conscious of it, but your brain was.
Yeah.
You met this guy and something happened. Your brain solved the problem. and you don't know what it was consciously, but your brain was like, nope, 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 nope. There was something small that happened that it, you know.
Well, it's like you're always categorizing
It's the
people and their
subconscious.
behaviors.
Yeah.
So it could have been a way that he like the smallest thing that you could imagine that your normal conscious wouldn't notice, but like your subconscious is your intuition telling you something.
Yeah.
Dude, half the
Always
fucking
right.
stories
Wasn't
that I
alignment,
do,
yeah.
half the stories, it's like a small little thing where I was like, I wonder. And you just fucking follow that shit and you're like, damn. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you follow that rabbit hole.
It was
all the way.
real. It's like a fucking
And
escape
it's way
room.
worse than I thought.
It's like you're like a detective in that way.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that though, because like that's I think people talk themselves out of listening to that. They're like, I might be crazy. Like, you're not crazy. Your
crazy.
brain's way smarter than you are.
Yeah.
Like your brain is always so much smarter than you are.
It's amazing. Yeah, you're always like
I'm also-
putting it through the filter what other people are thinking, and that's how you think you should handle
Yeah.
things.
with everything now too, it's like if you think about it, 20 years ago, before the internet, before a lot of this information came out, I could see parents going into that situation and being like, the guy's a little odd, but I'm sure it'll be fine, right? Because you don't know
wanna be one of
all
those
this.
parents.
every
Surplus
fucking
of
every like
information.
pedo that I've ever covered on my page, like I could just put their picture up and not say anything, and people be like, "Let me guess, it has to do with a kid."
Yeah,
Let me guess.
Yeah, you've had a slew of them where you're like, who would have thought?
Childhood is crazy, man.
Who would
Like,
have
wow.
thunk it with this guy?
But you know how many people
Amish
interacted with
guy,
these
sure.
fuckers, and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to be judgmental, but like, yeah, he looks like a
Be
fucking
judgmental.
yeah, no,
Protect
you should.
yourself.
yeah. You listen to your brain. There's a reason it's screaming at you right now.
I remember the first time I ever realized like how prevalent that was is one of my buddies pulled up a website when we were in like college, and it was like all the
How many sex offenders?
Yeah, all the child
like, in your
predators that are
area?
around
All
you.
the red dots around.
And I was
The
like,
red dots.
It's
what?
always
I was
terrifying.
like, what?
Kyle sends me that like once every 3 months.
Yeah. I send
Might
it
freak you out.
because Jeff lives downtown. I'm like, check this out. It's just a big red dot.
Yeah, That's horrible.
One giant red dot.
I'm like,
I mean,
bro.
dude, their apartment building alone in New York City, who knows? Yeah.
Oh,
It's
100%.
64 floors.
all the
Yeah.
all over the place.
I don't
for
want to
sure.
know. I don't want to look.
Right.
When I was when I lived in Pittsburgh, there was he was like an environmental attorney that lived like 4 houses down, and he got caught having sex with his dog. And it was like, and it was like this crazy news story. Like the neighbors heard the dog yowling, and like the police showed up, and they like insisted on coming in. It was like this big fucked up story. They found a bunch of drugs and shit on him, and I was like, that guy needs to be on the sex offender registry, but like he's not. Because it was
Bestiality registry, that exists?
no, they didn't put him on the sex offender registry. I was so mad about it because I was like, how the fuck are you avoid?
Yeah, I don't have to.
That seems insane that that's not true, because it's like if he's willing to do that to a dog,
Yeah,
He's doing
there was
Yeah,
a news
there's
story
other
and
stuff
everything
going on there.
Yeah, like it was crazy. Like it was just.
Ugh.
I don't know why I just thought of that, but
Yeah, how do we splice in some kind of positivity
You're like,
to wrap this podcast?
okay.
Well,
anyway,
he's
hey,
probably
what kind
dead
of dog do you guys have?
Two
Two.
Shih Tzus.
Nice.
two.
Two Shih
Nice.
Tzus. What do you have?
Don't
what do you
talk
rate?
about my dog right
Listen,
now.
dude.
It's a bad time.
Kyle's dog just recently had a first birthday. His name's
Yay.
Murphy. He's awesome.
He's 1 year old.
What kind of dog?
He's a lap.
Some might even say 1 year old.
He's a British lap. He's a good boy.
Little man.
Does he have an accent?
He is. He's kind of a.
Borks.
He's. I call him lad. Come here, lad.
That's perfect.
The Shih Tzus names are again.
We have Snarf, who's
Milo.
3, and then Milo's deaf and blind. He's awesome.
13. One eyeball.
He said he didn't
He's
name
kicking.
either of them. The shelter named their dogs, and they did not change the name, which
Yep.
is awesome.
Nice.
Well, the one I got,
fitting.
like when I was, I've never met another woman who dated another woman, but if I had, and I dated this girl when I was like 20, the time when the motorcycle photo.
Previous life, because you didn't ever meet another.
It was
girl.
another
Yeah,
life.
Yeah.
And
He was reincarnated.
she discovers that she needs like all these community service hours to graduate, like at the last fucking minute. There's like 2 weeks until the semester's over. And the only way she can do it is to shelter sit these dogs. Like they give you a random dog, and every hour you have the dog, you get a community service hour. And she's like, John, my landlord won't let me. Your landlord doesn't give a fuck. Can I please like do this, sign off on it? We'll put the dog at your house. It'll be fine. And I was like, fuck no. Like I grew up with too many dogs. Like my dad was fucking insane with like, we had like 9 dogs when he passed. It was like insane. I was like, I fucking hate dogs. Like dirty animals, no way. Big fight about it. She's like, please, like just 2 weeks. I was thinking in my mind, like this fucking animal is going to be my house. Like, no. Finally, okay, we compromised and did it. And this little Shih Tzu just shows up, and they bring the dog to you because it's a network shelter. It doesn't exist. It's like there's 40 homes, so we can have
all these fosters are just holding it for the time being until they get a permanent home.
And they bring this like decrepit Shih Tzu that has like his hair down to the fucking floor and shit. And I was like, this dog old as shit. Like whatever. He's just sleeps, goes to the door to pee. Like just really good dog. And I like end up being like, I'll keep him. Like this old guy. He's like, how much longer could he have on this earth? So slow, like decrepit, afraid of everything. And then I adopt him. And I take him to the vet or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, we need to request his paperwork from the shelter," and they do, and they're like, "He's 1 year old." I'm like, you got the wrong dog. Yeah. They're like, "You should get him groomed because he lived
just because of the no grooming."
Yeah. Well, there was an 80-something-year-old dude that was given him as a gift. Dude never takes him to groom, dies in the apartment, and just like fucking nobody in the family wants the dog.
Shih Tzus always get abandoned, dude.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
And
so
they're
it's like the most
perfect.
abandoned dog there ever was.
Yeah.
Oh, I get, and so I don't like dogs and do not want a dog really, but this dog is like not a problem. So I'm like, whatever, dude. Your golden years, you got like a year or two left. You're about to kick the bucket. Cool, die here. And then I go get him groomed, and he's like a fucking puppy. I was like, God, fucking damn it! Like I already.
13 years later, we bought him a brother.
He's still around.
Now he's got
great.
Snarf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
he's
best
kicking.
friend though. This dog's been everywhere.
Yeah. Snarf's my first dog, so I'm like really into it.
Yeah.
Like, my first dog ever.
Snarf's
We're
great.
very
Do
attached.
you take Milo for walks or just Snarf?
Well,
we
Milo's
have a
blind.
bag. Yeah, so he's totally blind. So we have like a fanny pack situation, like meant for. So we carry him around.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So Snarf's on the left?
Yeah.
Snarf's the little boy.
That was when he had a shitty haircut.
So Milo only has one eye, and the
Milo-
other one was
So
removed.
there's a
But
So, like-
are you not thinking the same thing I am, Kyle? Milo's singing that, "'Cause tonight will
yes.
I was like, look at that emo cut.
It's literally like the bang. So
exactly.
So his hairstylist basically is like very passionate about the bang, and we just like let him do whatever he wants to, and he
Yeah.
started curating this bang for months.
Looks
it
like
took
the
a long
hyena
time.
from Lion King, dude.
He's
One of those
great.
hyenas from Lion King.
We're like in a bad relationship with the dog groomer.
Wait, don't
like
talk about him.
he's so bad at grooming dogs, but he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, we really like him as a person. So.
Fucks up the haircuts all the time, but I'm like,
you're his only client.
Yeah.
well, he lives in our building.
He lives in our building. Well, one time we took Milo, and so there, it's a black and white Shih Tzu. He shaves all of the white and keeps the black parts long. And he's like, I saw it in a magazine. So it's like there's this flowing black hair, and the rest of him is completely shaved. He looks
was horrible.
You're like, did you get these magazines from Goodwill? Like, who has magazines?
Who did this?
No,
You're like,
1997.
this dog looks like he has mange now. What are you doing?
Katie's like, we're never going to him again, and I'm like, I just got to shut up and pay. And then 2 months later, I see him outside, and he's like, hey, when are you gonna get the dogs groomed? I'm like, oh, let's make an appointment right now. It's like he either has to die or move, or we move, and that's the only
Yeah.
way that I'm
Because
getting.
he's a really nice guy.
Until
Like I
then,
like
Milo's
him.
looking the same.
Yeah.
And he thinks Marshall, he's the nicest guy. Terrible, but he's so nice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he just hangs out
And he
with
loves
the
the dogs. Like he loves
Yeah.
the dogs, and like I trust him to be with them for 10
Yeah.
hours. And
Right.
like if we have a thing to do, he'll like.
Oh, he's
no
your
big
dog
deal.
watcher too.
He'll just,
He
like,
hangs out with it's like they're his dogs. Like he just
Yeah.
chills with them. And like I could be gone for like the day, and he'd be like, yeah, just let me know when you're coming back. We're hanging out. Send me a
Big
video.
deal.
He's like, they just got some chicken. Like he's just the coolest dude.
Yeah.
And Milo, particularly, that's Milo. Milo fucking hates a lot of people. So he used to have a problem when he could see. He would just like kind of indiscriminately attack dogs. And now that he's blind, he's like really nice because he just can't go beef with dogs. But before that, it's like him and Marshall got along.
Julia's comment: "Holy fuck,
Fuck,
he's
he's
still alive."
He's still around.
Yep. He's kicking. He's got a long way.
Yeah.
Just,
Just his live forever.
Just,
such a funny comment.
just so you guys know,
Hey, fuck you, Julia.
Yeah.
so he's 13.
Yeah.
Me,
That dog is
me and my
edited.
wife just had to put down. She had a
Oscar.
yeah. He was a
wiener dog?
a
Dachshund?
terrier.
Oh.
Like a Jack Russell Terrier, and he was like 19 years old.
Oh my fucking
Dude,
God.
so we had to get rid of him because when we had kids, he was blind. And so he would just snap at people.
Oh.
And so like he would snap
Milo.
at like my kid. And
Yeah.
I was like, we can't have that.
Yeah, of course.
So he went to live with Grammy. And this was like 6 years. We were like, same thing as you. We're like, he's probably got not very much
He hung
longer.
on for 6 more fucking
6 years. and she's like, he can't. He couldn't walk. He was peeing. Like he would just lay and pee. Like his pee, he couldn't do anything.
Decrepit.
And I was just like,
A vegetable of a dog.
Yeah.
I was like, he has to be put down. Like he can't like survive. Like he's gonna get like
Quality of life.
septic or something. From his living conditions. And so, but it was little dogs live forever.
They
Well,
have
I
low
thought-
mileage.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you
They just
remember-
like don't walk a lot.
We thought Milo was like on his way out. He went on strike
he
for
had an
like
episode.
6 days. Wouldn't eat. Don't know why.
Not even a McDonald's hamburger.
And then
Jeez.
Nothing.
it's like one day I order a Jimmy. We're like out of town with him. We have to go somewhere. We like bring him with us because we're so worried we didn't get a dog walker. We're like, we're gonna bring him. And I order a Jimmy John sub, and he just like, he's blind at the time because he had just lost his vision, and he's just like, and he just fucking like goes and he's like, give it to me, and like I give him the whole skull. Like, oh my god, you haven't eaten in like 6 days, bro. Like we took him to the vet. They're like, nothing's wrong. He's fine.
He just had a tummy ache.
just went on strike, and I thought he was dying.
Hunger strike.
And then all of a sudden he's just like fine again. And this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Was it a Turkey Tom? Was it an Italian nightclub?
It was a JJBLT. JJBLT. I wanted the alfalfa sprouts, but they no longer offer them.
Ah, dude.
Unbelievable.
My wife loves the alfalfa sprouts too.
They're great.
She's like won't eat at Jimmy John's anymore because they don't have them.
Do you know why?
Same.
Well, didn't it foodborne illness or
Yeah,
something?
there was like an E. coli.
Yeah.
Or something. I think E. coli is always the answer to that.
Sad.
Yeah. Or Chili's, hepatitis
You know
B.
who also has a lot of E. coli? Chipotle.
She worked at Chili's. So you're naming off all of her favorite spots.
Do you remember the Chili's problem? Or
What's that?
Cece's. Or
I was like, dude, no way.
Chi-Chi's. Chi-Chi's, not
Chi-Chi's
Chili's.
chips?
So Chi-Chi's used to be a restaurant.
Okay.
And they gave like 13 people hepatitis B or C or
Oh.
whatever the one is you can get from food.
Oh no.
And it was like 30 minutes from where I grew up. And it was the Chi-Chi's that we had been to when I was a kid.
Oh no.
And I remember my mom was like, see, this is why my mom was nuts. She's like, this is why we never eat out. I'd be like, okay.
That was Jack in the Box around us.
We're going to spend the next half hour talking about food. So I'm going to wrap this podcast real quick.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
And then we can continue this conversation.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah. Dude, it's been so awesome hanging out and getting to know you guys.
Coming to the barbecue. You guys are the best.
It was awesome.
awesome,
We
yeah.
had an awesome time.
2 people I would generally call friends. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with us all weekend. We really loved it. And tell the people how to find you.
Oh,
Don't find me.
You don't. You
good.
don't
hiding.
My Instagram is JimKatie_ on Instagram.
I'm GOOB_2 if anyone's wondering. I'm right there if you haven't seen.
You can't find me. I'm fucking shadow banned. If you type that in, it's not
Is
coming up.
GOOBU_2 a different page?
No, I actually just said that wrong. Sorry.
No, because I know he's been, it's had a hard time.
I
getting
think
his
that
page pulled
probably
down.
was another page, and it's
Yeah.
just like ingrained in my brain. You know,
Understood.
we've had a variety.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again for all that you do for the fitness community, and thank you for showing up as who you guys are every day. It's very much appreciated.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Don't forget that.